ref. That's he got the ball. Good evening, Tottenham fans, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boys Dave, Jack, Dermo, Soren, and Donovan. And we are gearing up for the big one tonight under the lights at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And it's a big one. It's the first leg of our Europa League semi-final against FK Bodø Glimt. Now, there's been plenty of noise surrounding our Norwegian opponents heading into this game with all their injuries, suspensions, and stuff like that. But for us, the question is simple. Can we take control of the tie tonight and show we mean business? Oh, it's a big one. I'm absolutely pumped. Hopefully people caught my predicted lineup. You know, I absolutely love nights like this. And like I said in that, I get, that the domestic campaign hasn't gone the way we want it. But when I was growing up, Europe was a fantasy. It was so far away. Yeah. So I am going to enjoy this one tonight. I hope everybody else is. Like I said, let's get out the bunting, get out your jerseys, get out your scarves, get out your flags, and let's get the support behind the boys tonight. I want to see a sea of lily white, and navy blue. It is absolutely crunch time this evening, make or break. And look, this is what we're in football for. Games like this, nights like tonight. So let's fucking go. I absolutely cannot wait. Let's welcome some people in and we'll crack on and get on with the panel. We've got Terry Betts in the house. Tonight is our time to shine. Big Come up, Terry. We've got Custard 1, 2, 3. We're going big. Absolutely love that. We've got Paul Connor in the house, member for 20 months. Big up, Paul. Evening, boys. Hope you're both well. It's a European semi-final day. Come on, you Spurs. We can do this. Do not want to see any negativity tonight. Everyone should be fully behind the boys tonight. My prediction, 5-0 Spurs. But Paul's obviously taking Bodo Glimt very lightly tonight, especially with their injuries and suspensions and admin errors and everything else leading into this game. But big up, Paul. You're absolutely spot on. European night. And you know what? I genuinely think everybody will be behind the team tonight. I think many people understand, the importance of trying to win this competition. At the end of the day, we're dying for trophies. We've got Wembley 1 in the house. Big up, Wembley. Good to see you in the house. He says, big up, boys, and here's the only pre-match build-up that really counts. We need to win by 3 tonight, I feel. Well, there was reports that came out of Norway in the build-up to this game after they found out that 2 of their players were suspended and that they thought they'd get away with for some reason. Reports come out suggesting they're happy to take a 2-0 defeat or 3-1. If they feel like if they keep it within a 2-goal margin tonight, they're confident they're going to turn it over down at their place. So, tonight I agree with you. I would like the name of the game is to try and score goals. 3 or 4 would be nice heading there. Would be very nice. Big up, Wembley. Good to see you, buddy. Generous. We've also got Safe Cab. Hi, guys. Come on, you Spurs. We need to take a big lead into the second leg. Absolutely spot on. We've got Darv Hotspur. Big up, all. Come on, you Spurs. Smash the likes. Great to see you. We've got Shem Cham in the house. Hey, Jack and Dave. Hope you're both doing well today. Europa Day. Hopefully we put in a good performance and come out with a big win. Effing hell. Great to see you. Destiny 5. Come on, you Spurs. We've also got Brett Fields in the house. Come on, you Spurs. Smash the likes up. We also got Niall O'Connor. Shout out to the fans stuck in traffic. Come on, you Spurs. Honestly, I was stuck in traffic for the North London Derby trying to get into Tottenham, and it is an absolute nightmare. It doesn't really go too fast either. You get very little movement in that traffic. So anyone stuck in traffic tonight, big shout out to you guys, and hopefully you get there on time. Big up, Curtis, mate. Great to see you, Curtis boy. We also have Daniel Larson in the house. Great to see you. We've got Delboy in the house. Derek Hutchins, a big up, Dave, Jack, and panel. We need at least 4-0 result tonight. Come on, you Spurs. We've got Darren Johnson. Good evening, gentlemen in chat. Let's go. King Hoddle says Alan Mullery of Spurs lifted the first ever UEFA Cup in 72. We won it again in 84. A third win would make us the joint most winners by a British club alongside Liverpool. An historic opportunity beckons. Absolutely love that. When you're beating Dermo to the punch, I'm sure Dermo has all these lined up. Big yourself up, my man. Big up Mark McDermott as well. Great to see you. We've also got Lee Mooney right now. I've got my days of the week in order. We can do this. Come on, you Spurs. Chance and Kube as well. Great to see you, buddy. Make sure we're not missing anyone. Tartan Spurs, as always. Great to see you. No excuses. It's time to perform. Absolutely spot on. K32, come on, you mighty Tottenham. Let's do this. Big up, my man in Limerick. Big up, Leo. I just before I was coming on here, I was flicking through YouTube. I see you're over there at the game today. Make sure you enjoy it, Leo. Big yourself up, my man, and make sure you have fun. Cheer the boys on tonight. Big up, Leo. We've got Del 20, Easy Dave, Easy Jack. Big up, chat. Let's F them up tonight and win it here rather than rely on the match in Norway. Absolutely spot on. Big up, Archer as well. Good evening, Dave and panel. We can do this. We're taking a 3-goal lead into the second leg. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Spurs are on their way to Bilbao. Big up Braxton Wheeler as well. Great to see you. Dermatron's gifted out channel membership. We'll find out who that's gone to.
Dele 20 from earlier, the guy who said, easy for the game tonight. Big up Dele 20.
He wants to F him up. Big up Deli 20. Make sure you thank the Tron for that one. Big up Shawnee Maddox. He's gone 4-0. Big up Big T as well. Great to see you. Leighton Evelyn 0-0 incoming. Look, there's potential of that happening tonight. Slow Jamrod, great to see you as well. Christopher Inshaw. Faz Radfar, 4-1 Spurs. Big up my favourite Spurs channel for sure. 4-1, no silly errors or red, absolutely spot on. Trinabad says, sending positive vibes to y'all and the other watchers. It's coming home. Just believe. No, let's not break out the it's coming home. That is actually cursed. Let's not break that one out. The it's coming home. Let's leave that to England. We've got Dan in the house as well. Great to see you. Beyond 72, Lee Neri, Mark Wilson. We've got Nick Kerry in the house. Woodsy as well. Enigma Limpy down under. Mark New. Breakdust Madness as well. Great to see you. Spurs GCTV. Big up Graham. We've got Polly in the house. Eugene. Finn McMullen as well. Good to see you. Oh, it was last week you were there. No problem. Well, look, hopefully you enjoy the watch along in the Colorado pub, my man. Big up, Leo. Oh, well, look, that's enough for me. I need to save my voice, save my excitement for the watch along. I've been listening to all the songs today. You best believe I'm absolutely pumped. But look, we'll start with Dermo and Soren. I know these two are ready to start getting their happy clapping underway. So we'll start with you two guys. I mean, look, there's going to be a massive TIFO display in the South Stand. Also, THFC flags have organised, a big sea of something today as well in terms of getting flags out there in and around the stadium. How crucial is the atmosphere tonight in pushing the team over the line tonight, boys? Because, there has been a lot made around the atmosphere this season about it being flat and stuff like that. But for an isolated game tonight, like a European final, how important is it?
It's very important. I mean, if you cannot get up for a UEFA Cup or Europa League or UEFA Cup, as I remember it, semi-final, then there's something seriously wrong with you. That place will be rocking tonight. I will guarantee you, every man and his dog in there will be pumped for this game. And if we score early, that atmosphere there is going to be electric. And I like the idea of the South Stand doing the TIFO. I like the ideas of the flags. I just love it. I'm excited now. I'm really excited now. I can't wait for the Palace game. And, I'm looking forward to that. Well, I wish I was there tonight. I'm just so pumped. And it's a European night. It's a chance of repeating what we did in '84. And I know how I felt back then. And I feel in the same now as I felt as a 7-year-old Dermatron watching the mighty Spurs back then. So I am really pumped for this. And, yeah, it's all about getting behind the team. And the team feeling that. We have to be one tonight. 84, the manager, the team, the fans were all one united juggernaut, busting through every wall to win that trophy. We've got to be the same tonight. We've got to be as one. And I think we will be. I think we will be as one tonight. Whatever with Ange, it's going to go to one side. Tonight, we're backing Ange and the boys all the way to European glory. Come on. I'm so excited. Let's get in there.
You mentioned every man and their dog. I wonder who the dog of the game is. The way they like to do that on the socials.
Where's the dog section?
Honestly, it's a joke. But Soren, look, the Liverpool result obviously hurt, right? It angered many. Again, more cause for Ange out in that after the game. And you can understand why. Do you think fans can put their differences aside tonight and get behind and unite at that stadium?
If they can't, what's the point in being a Tottenham fan? If you can't get behind the team tonight, what is the point in being a Tottenham fan? The only bigger stage than tonight is the final. And we will be in the final. So it's as simple as that. Look, I said before the Liverpool game that I felt that it was almost a non-existent game. And you know what? Even getting thumped like we did, it was a strange feeling because it was almost like, well, kind of expected it, but it didn't bother me as much because I knew we had tonight. Tonight is the biggest. Look, we're going to say this 3 times. Tonight is the biggest game of the season. We're going to say it in 2 weeks or a week's time, whatever it is. And then we're going to say it in Bilbao because we will be in Bilbao and that will be our biggest game of the season. And there's only one winner at the end of that one as well. We're going all the way. And until we don't, I'm just going to clap and clap and clap. I'm going to slap Dermot's ass all night long. Bang, bang, bang. We're going all the way, baby.
Hang on, don't give the chat any ideas here. Sorry, just don't let out our private. What we do in private, don't let it out in the public domain here.
I was going to say, I'd hate to see the two of you out in Bilbao. You'd be spanking each other up and down.
This is what it's all about, though, isn't it? I mean, look, we've had this. I don't mean me and Dermot, by the way. I'm on about the game tonight, by the way. Now let's move on.
I'm glad you've cleared that up, sir, and thank you.
Just to get past that. Look, this is why we support a football team. Any person that supports a football team, doesn't matter how shit your season's been, doesn't matter how shit your team is. When you're in a semi-final of a European Cup, if you cannot get behind the team, fuck off. Sorry.
Look, I especially for tonight, I can understand that sentiment. And in weeks gone by in the Premier League games, I sort of wouldn't agree with that, but I can understand it on a late night tonight. But look, do you know what? Honestly, I think the fans will turn up tonight. You know, it's just I hope that we don't go one down, take an early sucker punch, and sort of suck the life out of the atmosphere. You know, because that will absolutely kill it.
I don't think it will, Dave. I think even if we go 1-0 down early on, I think that'll probably get the fans going even more, because I'll tell you now, I do not. We've been saying all season that, you know, if we get it right, we play good, and we haven't had that virtually perfect performance. I hope it comes tonight. I think tonight could be a rather special night at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I think we could all be quite excited by the final whistle, and I think we're going to see a really good game. I think the players are going to be up for it. I think the fans are going to be absolutely tremendous in the stadium. If we go 1-0 down, I think you'll just see the team battle back, and it will be our night tonight.
Would you give somebody a pumping? I agree with you.
Yeah, and you know, apologies for my language. I'm just getting a little bit pumped up, but yeah, you know, come on, we're going to do it.
Look, even the kids will be swearing tonight. Trust me. If you're a kid and you're a Spurs fan and you haven't learned swear words between what's going on this season, yeah, you know, I think the idea of a family show this season has sort of gone out the window altogether. But look, you know, there's going to be a massive, and that's what let me down actually against Frankfurt at home. I thought it was a golden opportunity to really take ownership of our home. Massive tifo, flags everywhere. It was didn't really feel like a semi-final or quarter-final sort of atmosphere, but it's good to see that they have organised something for tonight. Because, you know, when we go across Europe, we're welcomed by tifos and all that all the time. So it's good to see a bit of that effort actually put into trying to generate an unbelievable night for everybody. Big up Sonam, point on me for 5-0 for 5-0 win in advance, guys. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Sonam.
Do you know what? I really appreciate that. Look, do you know what? And then you've got Jason Green here as well saying he's really confident tonight and stuff. Honestly, I am so hesitant, guys, to sit here and say I'm so confident tonight. I really am. I don't know why. Don't get me wrong. I look at it and I'm like, we should be beating these. But I'm really hesitant to be over cocky and overconfident heading into this one, because when I have been in times gone by, I've sort of been a little bit bit on the ass. So let's wait and see what happens. But big up, look, if it's 5-0 tonight, honestly, nobody even bother trying to get sense out of me and Jack after the game. We're just going to sit down and vibe out once again, guys. So big up, Sanam. Good to see you in the house, my man.
Get your pint choices in the chat, please, everybody. What are the drinks of choice? Dave's got the extra lemons out. He's got the extra Coke glasses out.
Well, I've actually got so my ma, or was it one of my sisters? Can't remember. One of them anyway. They got me a freezable glass, Tottenham glass. Ooh. So I've actually got that in the freezer, and I'm going to whip out the ice cold can of Coke for kickoff. I cannot wait. I've texted my dad. I told him to get his in there so we can be twins. But Jack and Donovan, let's get you guys involved. I mean, Bodo Glimt will be without Captain Patrick Berg tonight, midfield partner Hakon Evjen, and centre-back Odin Bjortooft as well, among others. That's the core of their squad ripped out, guys. Is this a golden opportunity for Spurs to take command of the tie, especially with the first leg being at home? And look, let's be honest, you know, do people out there trust an Ange Postecoglou team, especially his Tottenham team, to be clinical and ruthless in these kind of situations? Because that's what tonight requires. It's set up for us to be able to take advantage of this. Or is there still maybe that bit of Spursy tag maybe lingering around?
A great question, Dave. Also great pronunciations, by the way, on those guys.
Tried.
My thing
I actually went to try and learn them, so I didn't get in trouble this time.
You got some advice from Daniel. I struggle with the fact that Bodo Glimt are probably one of those teams, though, that you would imagine sort of are the classic case of hard work beats talent. What is it, every day of the week type of team. Like the guys that they are missing, we've been told are some of their best players, are the
Patrick
ones
Barnett
that,
is.
yeah, they're their talismans or their captains or their leaders. Also, just the guys that might just have that bit more quality in possession or out of possession than maybe some of their other guys do. But I'd still say they are a team that has gotten here to this point through hard work, not down to like the quality of their players or anything like that. So I think it's a bit of both, where we can take advantage of the fact that they are going to be missing their guys that are more capable than others of scoring goals, creating moments, playing that incisive pass to break us open, also being able to sort of lead their team, keep them together, keep them all focused. But like I said, I also wonder if, they just have guys that are, in the backup, type of roles that are just able to be soldiers tonight for them, that can sort of just run about, muck about, get stuck in, run up and down, bust along for the team. So it's a bit of both for me, Dave. I think it's a huge blessing to us that we have to take advantage of, that their best players are out for this game and in multiple positions, in the forward line, in the midfield, and in the defense. But I also wonder, this team hasn't gotten here because they have a bunch of, James Madison's, Bruno Fernandes, type players in the team. They have gotten here because of that hard work. So you'd imagine they have guys that are definitely gearing up tonight to put in a real shift for them. So it's a bit of both. It's a huge blessing for us, but they're not a team that are full of Kavichas or something like that. It's not like we're talking about somebody of that type of quality that they're missing. So Spurs should be able to take advantage, but that's my wonder, with this Bodo Glimt team, is that you'd imagine they have somebody that's lined up here tonight that's willing to run probably 15 miles, out on that pitch for them. But I mean, Donovan, to you, I mean, can Spurs though take advantage of that? Do you think they can take advantage of those injuries?
No doubt Spurs can. Like, I mean, like you just well alliterated there and illustrated that all the ingredients line up as Soren did earlier, and Dermo happy clapping away that, their stars are aligning for a potential really good Spurs result, and something that's kind of been bubbling under the surface for a long time. And maybe that's something towards that we can use as pain of the season, because Liverpool still stings. I mean, I went into it skeptical. I didn't think we were going to do anything. I didn't go into it cynically, because like cynicism doesn't do anything, right? But skeptically, I was like, it's Liverpool, right? Like they're probably going to win the title. And then Dominic Solanke, beautiful header, and then sucks me in, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. And then the commentators start talking about how, this Tottenham team doesn't deserve to be in 15th or 17th or wherever we are, and we got all this pride, and next thing you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 come by you, and then it's like, okay, that's the levels between the class. So we're not Premier League champions, but we can be European champions. And I think Ange Postecoglou is going to really hammer that into the players that say, hey, through all this thick and thin, you still have something special to play for here. Let's flip it here, though. Bodo Glimt. I mean, losing that core of their team, is it going to diminish their product? Yes, but like you illustrated, Jack, that their hard work got them there. I mean, Ange Postecoglou knows this, that like he's historically worked with weaker squads his whole life, and that tactics, how he plays the game, and that hard work ethic, those are the pillars, and that's what makes him through. And he's going to know that. So I don't think Bodo Glimt's going to come through and roll over by any means, but I think it has to be a scenario where it's like us versus them. You got that little cousin at the family reunion, you kind of hold him by one hand, he's trying to come at you swinging fists, and you kind of just put him away by one hand. And that's how you have to treat the game, because if you give them too much respect, they're not going to come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium gawking with their mouths open. They're going to come here to play 90 minutes of good football. So if we do that, some of those Frankfurt chances going to the back of the net, we could really run up the score here and kill this game off. So, go for it, dude.
No, I was going to say, I think that's what, gives many people maybe a little bit of excitement, that we did create that amount of chances at home against Frankfurt, and if we can take them tonight, and some would maybe argue maybe we could create a little bit more tonight, that's where I think maybe the excitement comes in, that maybe we can try and run up the scoreline a little bit, because that seems to be all the talk running into this game. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to get carried away. We do have questions on Bodo Glimt and how tricky they can be, just to be a bit fair. But, along a cup run, you need two things. You need to be ruthless and take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. And you also need a little bit of luck. Now, I think in Frankfurt, the penalty and the way we got out of that over 2 legs, you would argue, maybe deserved, but a little bit of luck to go with it. I think tonight is a golden opportunity, and I think it's one where we have to show up, turn up, be ruthless, and take advantage of it. To Jack's point, yes, they're still going to have players that will run through a brick wall, in terms of the tactics, and that can take you a long way. But there's a lot of quality missing out of that team tonight. Patrick Berg is their set piece specialist, and he's very good at delivering. You know, the striker that scored the equalizer, or the winner, or the equalizer to take it the penalties against Lazio is missing. The centre back's missing. You've got to take advantage of nights like these. If you don't, we could very well be looking back on this as a missed opportunity. It's like Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final. First leg, they weren't really at the races, but we didn't capitalize on it enough with enough goals. Tonight, we have to do that. These are weakened, and we have to go and put our foot on their neck. We have to be ruthless tonight. In order to get to a final, there's, like I said, two things. Ride your luck, but also take advantage when they present themselves. So tonight is one of them ones where you got to take advantage tonight. Let's take a couple more comments from the chat, and then let's keep cracking on. Jason Green has become a YouTube member. Big up, Jason. Really appreciate the support, buddy. Look, we over the summer, we're going to sit down. We're going to come up with more members' ideas for more members' content and stuff going forward. We still do a bit of members' content, so make sure you check that out, and really appreciate the support, Jason. Anyone else feel like they want to become a channel member, feel free. Big up, Jason.
But he also said as well, just quickly, Dave, said, proud to be part of the Flat Cap Army. Let's go. I'm going for a 4-0 win tonight. I really do believe Spurs will get the advantage over them and run a good game this evening. Everyone's going 4-0s, 5-0s. Jason, like Dave brought up, I think we would be incomprehensible at that stage if Dave and I on the watch long get him a 4-0. Dave will have the Coke bottles over his glasses. He'll be all rocking the shades that I have to the side of me. Beers will be out. Flat caps will probably be on the floors, maybe even out the window. He'll go crazy, Jason.
Potentially, you might even see me topless if we score that fifth goal tonight. No one wants to see that, but big up, Jason. Good to see you. In fact, actually, I should probably save that because people pay good money for that over on OF, don't they? So should probably save that and put it up there. Big up, Ed M. He's answering Jack's drink call tonight for the game. He says, I've just had a kettle of tea, not just a pot.
Nice and
kettle.
calm.
Speaking right up Soren's street there. Tartan Spurs says he's gone on a Guinness nice and early. Destiny 5 says he's drinking Bodo blood tonight. Stevie Fraser has gone for a pint of rum and ginger. Daniel Larson's gone with the IPAs. Eugene has woke up and is having Guinness for breakfast. PH family says Norwegian guy at my wife's work today took the day off to watch the game. He's really proud of the team for getting to the semis. Let's turn his proud day into a shit one. You know what? I would say if we do win tonight and we win well, drop your wife off tomorrow at work with the Spurs jersey on and everything else, and just sort of give him a little cheeky wave on the way out, my man. Big up, PH family. El Chal Cockerel, good to see you. I'm liking some of these comments that I'm reading as well, by the way. Bill says, I put my feelings towards Ange, the club, Levy, etc. to one side for one night only, though. Come on, you Spurs. And might have to do 2 or 3 nights, on this one, Bill, but we'll take it for tonight anyway. Berto says, who you putting in midfield if Bergvall rumours are true? On that, some people are asking what it is. There's a guy on Twitter that's claiming he's never wrong, and he sort of put out that Bergvall and Son are out for the season. That Bergvall done something to his ankle in training. But look, let's wait and see. I know Soren doesn't believe these sort of things, so let's wait and see what happens there, Berto. But we'll get on to the midfield and that. Don't you worry. I'm just trying to build the tension. My man, big up Stevie. He's gone for a point of Bodo Glimt tears. Alpesh Patel says, good late afternoon, Dave and Jack. On my way on the train to the game. It doesn't matter what team is put in front of us, but we struggle against any opposition this season. Ange will get out-thought. I hope that's not the case. I really do. I hope our quality can come through tonight on that one, Alpesh. Nice day off work for you to be able to get to the game today. Absolutely.
Come on, Alpesh.
For you, my man. Big up, Alpesh. Then we've also got this from Daniel90. Big up, Team Harris checking in. Says simple. Has to step up tonight, though. My feeling aside for the Mandrick, get the job done tonight. There's a great opportunity there to get to a European final. Absolutely spot on. I'm loving some of these comments here, guys, from you guys. And then we've got Faz Radfar in the house. He says, let's not use the word Spursy tonight. 4-0 win. Come on, you Spurs. No, look, 100%. I'm trying my best not to use it tonight. I just almost feel like that slip up has just been waiting to happen. Every year we go into Europe, we always suffer one, defeat to a team that we never should, and it hasn't happened yet. And I can't get that feeling out my head, my man. I just can't, Faz. I'm sorry. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Dave, come on, man. Stop that, bro, man.
I'm just saying. It's just also the overconfidence. It's just, I'm not liking it. It's making me more nervous. So if you guys could come down to my level.
Dave's the only one saying the banana peel on the floor, guys. So when he comes back.
I know. Blaine Spurs, Super Spurs TV says, big up, Dave and panel. Okay, I woke up with a pitch tent, Dave. You inspired me. Let's effing go tonight. 4-1 tonight. Come on, you Spurs. Blaine, what did I tell you? I told you you'd wake up tonight, this morning, absolutely with a hard on for this game tonight. You know, and I've been sitting there listening to the Vicario song, the Madison song, Van de Ven song, you know, all these Spurs songs. I'm absolutely pumped for it, Blaine, and it's great to see that you are in the right frame of night tonight, my man. Come on, you fucking Spurs. And then he's also gifted out 5 IrishHotspur memberships. Who's the lucky recipients? Oh, by the way, Blaine, you at the game today, or where are you watching it from? Never know, would you?
Well, he's got to hide the tent if he's going to go into the stadium, or he's going to keep it on. AK Shags, they might have to pat him down, Dave. AK Shags, good to see you. He's been gifted one. Just a Harmless Potato as well. Giannis Rebulus, great name. JB Klee, and then Lewis Parks as well. All gifted memberships. A lot of familiar names there. Would love to have you guys on the fan shows, because the last few, I think, have been a lot of fun, been spicy, good combos, and would love to see some new debuts, as always. Appreciate you, Blaine. Very, very generous, sir.
Yeah, big up, Blaine. Very, very kind of you. Big up, Shikari Shock, Rayman as well. We also have Noel O'Sullivan in the house. Big up, Noel. AK Shags, Leon as well. Enjoy the game, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. We have Windrider in the house. That'll be me tonight if we win. Wind riding tonight, surfing the waves. Big up, John the Fisherman as well. Great to see you. Make sure we're not missing anyone. The oxymorons on Slim by Tubbs. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. And I think, you know, we're catching absolutely everybody here. Big up, Johnny as well. Good to see you, John Boy. Look, guys, let's keep it going. I mean, I did mention about, you know, the report suggesting that Bodo Glimt would see a 2-0 or a 3-1 defeat as acceptable going back to Norway. And we'll go to you on this one, Soren. That says a lot about their confidence next week in their home stadium if we don't put this to bed in North London tonight. Potentially, we could be heading in for real trouble out there, because they do take a lot of big scouts out there in Norway. How crucial is that we go full throttle tonight from the first whistle and build a proper lead at home to take away?
I think it's look.
And do you feel we have to win tonight if we want to make it to the final?
No, I'm going to say, I think we go 2 ways. Yes, we really do want to win tonight and put it to bed tonight, but we've said it before. You know, we've managed to go away and sneak something. So it's going to be tough over there. Don't get me wrong.
What score would make you comfortable going out there with?
Well, with our defence, about 8-0. You know, no, I mean, I just think 2-3-0, then if we go over there and lose, then we don't deserve to be in the final anyway. So look, it's a semi-final, and the team has to show up both legs. It doesn't matter. I mean, we know playing on these artificial pitches is not easy, and obviously they play on it every week. They train on it probably, but we should be able to go over there and, I want to say, keep it tight, but I mean, obviously that people will just think I'm taking the piss there. But I do think that as long as we've got at least a 2-goal lead, then we should be able to go there and do something, because I don't see us not scoring over there. It just depends how many we can see. But I don't know. I mean, if we've got a full team and we're not, you know, we're not carrying any injuries defensively, then I don't see why we can't go there and do what we need to do to get through. So
another Frankfurt performance, right? You know, away from home, you know, not shut up shop, you know, to a large degree, 11 men behind the ball, a bit like that. You know, we've proven that we can do that, you know, going away to Frankfurt, considering an atmosphere like that. So, you know, I think if we can win tonight, I think we set ourselves up with a massive chance of getting to Bilbao. I think if we win by 3 or 4 tonight, I'm probably booking Bilbao. To be honest with you, that's why I really want to run up the score tonight. But look, they are no mugs. But go on, Son.
I just think it's going to be one of those games where the atmosphere is going to be right tonight. The players have got to be up for it.
Yeah,
I just think it'll be tied up by the end of tonight. If we've won 3-0, 3-1, 4-1, you know, whatever it is, then if we go over there and we don't come, we're not in the final, then I'm sorry, but the team obviously just don't deserve anything then. So any type of lead, then yeah, I don't know. I just have this feeling it's our year. I really do. So I don't really care what the score is tonight. I just think we're going all the way.
Well, I really hope we start fast tonight. I think, what we need to do is put them under early pressure and let them know that, we're here to play tonight. King Huddle also says there's a lot of talk about needing 3-4 plus goal advantage. I will take a 2-goal advantage. That makes us favourites, in my opinion. Look, to be honest, realistically, I'd take any advantage going over there, to be quite frank. But a 3-goal advantage means I can book Bilbao. I definitely don't want to miss the opportunity of seeing Soren and Dermot spank each other up and down Pamplona. Do you know what I mean? So, hopefully we can get that job done tonight. Big up King Huddle. AK Shags says we all want Uda. Oh, no, where? That's not the comment I want to bring up. He says, they said we couldn't win in Frankfurt. We've got the quality, need to be locked in from the first whistle. You're absolutely spot on. What we can't do is take 5-10 minutes to settle into the game and stuff like that, because that's where Frankfurt hurt us. And, Bodo, although I do expect them to sit in, they are going to push plenty of men forward when the opportunity arises to attack. They will just get runners to go make forward runs, and they will play it. So the danger signs are there. But, for me, we just can't afford to go one down, and especially off the back of a 5-0 defeat to Liverpool at the weekend. I think it will really suck the energy and the life out of the stadium to a large degree. That first 10 minutes, I would like to see us actually flip the script. Imagine we can score inside the first 10 minutes. The fucking roof is going to be blown off the place. It'd be absolutely unbelievable. Big up AK Shags. Big up Ricky Nato as well. Good to see you. Even the brothers must win by 3 or 4 goals tonight, please. And DJ AK, great to see you. He says we're winning it. And on your bike, Scott, as well. Great to see you as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. Thermo, does the mindset of Bodo Glimt, the fact that they've maybe put out there, that they're happy with maybe a 2-goal margin, they know Tottenham's mentality is weak. Does that actually, in effect, actually put more pressure on the players tonight to go and win this by a big margin tonight? Is anything less than a convincing lead a failure tonight?
Anything less than the convincing win is a failure. I think it's a bit of mind games as well. I think there's a little bit of that. Look, Bodo or Bodo, I don't know how you pronounce them. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong. They're a decent outfit. They've beaten teams. They beat Lazio in the last round, so they're not a team that we should take lightly. But they are missing players, and I think if we don't win 4-0 tonight, I think that would be very disappointing. I think I know what you said. Go there. I know what Soren is saying. What Soren is saying is correct. But I think from my point of view, anything bar 4-0 or 4-1 win, we need to go over there with a good lead, because we got no confidence over there winning over there. We can't play they know how to play in that pitch. They play there week in, week out. So the advantage will be with them. Tonight, the advantage is with us. They don't play in the 60,000 seat stadium. Tonight, I think they could be a little bit shell shocked by the players that are coming in, and I think the players that come in, maybe if they didn't have as many injuries or suspensions, I'd be looking at a tight 2-1 win. But with the suspensions and the injuries, the players coming in, are they going to be a little bit shell shocked playing in a big stadium? I just feel tonight it's all about us gelling together and putting in a performance that will put a marker down.
Yeah,
I think Ant will have that in the players' heads.
Do you think they can do that?
Just say something, Dave?
Yeah.
Just real quickly, Dermot. When have you ever expected a tight 2-1 victory? You have never, ever said 2-1 tight victory. They are not the words.
Honestly, if they had full strength, you wait till the away leg when they're full strength. Dermo will still predict the 5-0.
They'll still be 5-0.
I was just trying to be, normal and like
diplomatic.
Now's the time to decide.
Sometimes some absolute rubbish comes out of your mouth, Dermo.
When we need your delusion and hype the most. Now
you're disappointing us.
Look, I think tonight is so important that the Tottenham players have to realise they've got a chance of joining to be legends of a football club. To join the legends of the 63 Cup winning team. To join the legends of the 72 UEFA Cup winning side. To join the legends of the 1984 UEFA Cup side. They have such a chance to join a secret band of club that whatever happens, forget about this season. If they win that Europa League or UEFA Cup, as I still call it, they will go down as the 4th team in our history ever to win a European trophy. They will be legends for life. And there's so many, I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. There's so many links between this run and the 84 run. Liverpool winning the league. I know they won the European Cup in 84, but Liverpool winning the league. A manager leaving at the end of the season. We don't know. Yes, Steve, my head has gone. We don't know if
You're going so good,
man.
man. That was great, Dermo. Keep it up, man.
We don't know if Vanch is leaving at the end of the season or not. That's a question mark on that.
Yeah.
I keep saying we'd beat a Dutch side and a German side on the way to the final in 84. There's so many links to 84. I cannot see it any other way than our winning our 3rd UEFA Cup. I just can't see it any way. I just can't see anything else but us lifting that trophy at the end in May. And maybe call me deluded, call me that I'm talking shy. I don't give a effing hell. I will back my team and I'll pick any omen going. Yeah. I just think this year is our year. And I just, when we see them lift that trophy, I will admit I will cry live on YouTube when they lift that trophy.
Yeah.
Because I remember where I was when I was 7. And that brings an awful lot of this me and my dad watched that game together.
I mean, I cried when Madison got cleaned out by that goalkeeper, man. Like, I cried when Madison got taken out.
I mean, that was a very special time when I
cried when he went to the monitor, the referee. Yeah.
And, and then memories that I cherish. And if we win it again, it would take me back to me being a 7-year-old again, watching that final. And it would mean so much. And it means so much, you guys as well that haven't seen much success.
Do you know what it is for me? Liverpool robbed me of my greatest moment of my lifetime, being able to celebrate with my dad lifting the Champions League, absolutely robbed me of that moment, of that joy. I hope this is payback, I really want this one, just be able to sit there and celebrate with my dad, a lifetime of pain we've been through as Spurs fans, stuff like that. I'd absolutely love nothing better than to have this moment with him. So hopefully...
Can I hop in there for a second?
Yeah, hopefully we can get to the final and make it happen. It'd be absolutely brilliant because he's not. He keeps trying to find an excuse not to go to Bilbao, but I think he'll have no option if I book it up and we end up going. But look, I do want to maybe just have a quick conversation about what to expect from Bodo Glimt over the 2 legs. So we'll go to Jack for that. He's the only other guy we know that watches all the obscure leagues around the world and stuff like that. And then I want to get a little bit of a conversation around the mental coach that they've employed after, because the turnaround at their football club has been since they bought this guy in, and maybe, something that maybe Tottenham should look at, and then we're going to start getting into team. But just quickly, I know Tottenham, people are saying Tottenham put out a video of the players arriving and that Bergvall isn't there. Part of me can't help but think, are they going to sniff them all out? Is this something put out there to try and sniff them all out on a night like tonight? Let's wait and see what happens. But Jack, I do want to come to you and bring you in because, look, on paper we've got the stronger squad, we've got more depth, more experience. But let's not kid ourselves. Bodo Glimt are no mugs. They're well drilled, disciplined, and they've shot big sides, bigger sides than us as well in Europe this season. What challenges do you anticipate from Bodo Glimt over these 2 legs?
It's hard to know whether we're going to get 2 versions of Bodo or the same version of Bodo. Their best version is like they're an energetic team. They press, they work hard out of possession, they win the ball back, and then they counter with numbers. They have guys that just fly up and down the pitch and just cause teams problems. The methodic, sort of slow pace types of teams, aka kind of maybe the Italian teams, the Portuguese teams, have all been caught out by them. They've taken so many scalps against big sides that you would think on paper would absolutely demolish, a team like Bodo Glimt, but they didn't, because I think that energetic style that they've brought has really, woken up teams and has really shocked a lot of sides. I can think of Jose's team, we all know, was like, as people complained about, boring, methodic, too much passing and sideways movement, not a whole lot of, real energy, both in and out of possession. And Bodo Glimt, when they win the ball back from you, they just fly forward with numbers.
They create chances, though, Jack.
They create chances. They surprise you with, a nice little ball in behind, or they surprise you with, some tricky wingers, here and there. And they're just a team that I think is hard to really get a grip of and hard to really fully understand because you don't really know many of their players. They're all kind of mysteries to you, but they play a lot better than what you would expect, a Norwegian side too. And I wonder if they're going to be, probably talk about this later, but I wonder if they will set up in some sort of defensive block, defensive shape, look to stifle us. But then when they do win the ball back, they will try to sort of hit us on the break very quickly. Or if they'll just go with that gung-ho, very attack-minded play style, which has worked for them, especially at home. And I think that's where they get that confidence from, is like at home, they get the crowd behind them. They take advantage of the weather, the plastic pitch, all the things that majority of European teams don't have to deal with or worry about. And then they play such a pleasing brand of football that it all kind of encompasses into a very, capable outfit of causing some big upsets. And we all know about this kind of mentality of, the sort of free hit. I think a lot of games for them are a bit of a free hit. They don't really care about, what the opposition is capable of. They know that they can be a good team on their day, and they know that they can catch big teams out for being either overconfident or not really aware of what they're capable of. And, hopefully we've done our homework. Hopefully Andrew's done his homework against this team, and Spurs can, be aware of, this energetic, very fast-paced team. That's what I worry about, is that I think they're very fast. They have good energy levels, and they have players that are obviously have incredible stamina. And I think that's something we do have to worry about, especially on the break and on the counter. But if we can overwhelm them with quality, players like Odeberg, Matisse Tell, guys they don't probably see in the Norwegian league, on a regular basis. I think that's our advantage, is that we do have to beat them with the quality. I'm not sure if we're going to beat them, though, when it comes to effort, hard work. We have to try, our best to match that. But that's, I think, their advantage most of the time in games. But like you said, Dave, like they catch you out, with some decent finishes, some decent passing, some nice quick movement, some nice triangles. So they're a tricky team for sure.
And you know what? Look, they're not here because of their defensive prowess. They're here because they can score goals.
Yeah,
that's what the game is
they
about.
Walloped Roma a long time ago, like 6-7 goals or whatever it was.
It's 6-1. Jose Mourinho's Roma walloped them 6-1. They beat Porto on this run, Besiktas on this run. You know what I mean? Like, they're a team that knows how to score goals, and I genuinely think why they're here is because they do surprise teams with the quality that they offer. Usually, when you come up teams against, like, what Elfsborg we played, didn't really offer a great game. No real quality there to a large degree. Bodo Glimt aren't like that. They have quality going forward. They can create chances. They score goals. There's a guy up front tonight. I think he's top scorer of the competition, if I'm correct, or at least their top scorer. I think the majority of his goals have come at home, though. His name is Hogue or Hag or something like that. Daniel will be able to tell me. So they're a team that knows how to score goals. And I think what actually makes them an even more dangerous proposition is, in Norway, they're known for just going and ripping up teams. But in Europe, they have had to find a little bit of a different way to play. They don't have as much possession and stuff like that. So in Europe, their journey has been different to how they sort of handle the Norwegian league to a large degree. So they are comfortable without possession, but when they do get that possession, they do know how to break teams down, and that's what makes them a difficult opposition, because they can play both ways. Now, coming here and expecting them to sit low block today is probably a bit unrealistic, given they're not really known for that. But I just think with all the injuries and everything else, I do think there will be an element where they will look just to sit in, because they fancy themselves at home. I think, that's been a part of their run through the qualification campaign. They capitalize on teams not wanting to make that long journey out there, not being able to deal with the cold, the snow, the hailstones, shit like that, the artificial pitch. They capitalize on it out there, and they're not one of them teams that sit in and see how you warm up to it. They go for you from minute one. They could have put 6 or 7 by Lazio when they were out there. Lazio were lucky
deserved
they
more
were in the game in the second leg. And let's not forget, Lazio finished top of the whole league process as well. So, it was a big victory for them. And that's why I just fear maybe, are we a little bit overconfident heading
100%.
into this game, because I genuinely don't think people actually realize how much of a decent outfit they are. Now, saying that, we could slap them 5-0 and everyone go, Dave, what you on about? But look, let's wait and see. Now, I do want to come down to Donovan. We're just going to take this from Paddy D. Big up, Paddy. And he says, evening, fellas. Feeling a big Spurs win tonight. Come on, you Spurs. You and all 650 others that are tuning in right now. I'm the only one that seems a little bit wary of the opposition tonight.
Dave will
Paddy,
get there.
I don't know why, but big up, Paddy. Hopefully you're keeping well out. Are you going to the game tonight? You're watching it from home. And then if you're watching it from home, Jack needs to know your drink of choice for tonight. Big up, Paddy D. We've also got RS for Siri in the house. Big up, Dave, Jack, and the panel on chat. Great to see you. Big Mike, the one and only. Game time. Big up, Big Mike. Great to see you.
On his way to the game.
Alfred. He's on his way to the game. Mike, you enjoy it, my man. I know Mike's going to be loud and proud tonight on his feet. And we've also got Alfred Oscarson says, I love you guys. The panel is honest, real, and true. Super big up from Iceland.
Thank you, Alfred.
You know what? You're from an absolute great country. I've always wanted to go and visit Iceland. So big yourself up. Alfred, good to see you in the building. Down to you, Donovan. And we're going to let other people come in off the back of what Donovan has to say here. But Bodo Glimt employ a mental coach who's an ex-fighter pilot from the Norwegian Air Force. Now, he joined up with them in 2018. Since then, they've won 4 out of 5 league titles, and they've gone on to have this mad journey in Europe as well. And before that, they were a team that were floating between the bottom half of the Danish or the Norwegian First Division and the Second Division. You know, before that, I think they only had 1 cup in their locker. So he's really managed to actually change the whole mentality of the club. And he basically works on meditation and mindfulness with the players to get the players in the right mentality and tuned in before matches. Is it daft to wonder why Spurs don't have something like this at a club of our size? And do we take the mental side of the game seriously enough, considering we're a club that lacks that sort of mental edge? Basically what I'm asking, should the club be investing more in this kind of psychological coaching? Because it seems to work for them, and they're punching well above their weight, and we're also a club that has a real mental problem.
So Dave just cracked a big can of worms. Right?
Big one.
That's you said the M word, and so I'm going to say it. Like military, meditation, all that stuff. That unlocks a great set of focus in your mind. Like that, professional athletes. The average. That's how the average become extraordinary by walking into that mental side of your brain. And a lot of people don't realize the potential of manifestation. Meditation.
You're one of them guys, aren't you? You're like mindfulness, and you're one of them mental guys, aren't you?
Well, that's why I'm going to speak passionate about this, because like I look at my own personal journey as how I've started from the bottom. No, but seriously, and how I've progressed my own life. That is how this military man worked, and that's what they treat you in the military. That's how they train you too. Is great focus, and it's a shame that Sonny hasn't been able to kind of translate that into his leadership role. Maybe he has, I don't know. But as for Bodo Glimt, yeah, that's powerful, man. And when you do that over a series of time, why hasn't Tottenham employed somebody like that? Maybe because it's still a bit of a stigma in the mainstream media. Maybe it's still a bit of a voodoo of it's a wishy-washy. It's not an exact science that can be measured by numbers and decimals, points, and figures. So because of
that's a good point.
Yeah, because of that, Daniel Levy can't quantify it, so maybe he doesn't see that as an option, and so he's going to look at the data-led approach, which works in football, but you have to have some kind of, you have to also understand these are human beings, right? Like Richarlison breaks down crying on national television because the stress got to him that he basically couldn't fill Harry Kane's boots, right? Like, I mean, like, no figure, like nobody can fill Harry Kane's boots, right? Like, don't worry about it. Like, so when it comes to that point, I think Tottenham players have historically gone outside the club for resources anyway. Like Harry Kane had to get somebody from Canada to fix his ankles. So either that's somebody that the Ange has to look at like next season if he's even here. Like you talk about superstition. Like if we win the cup and Ange has to go, then go. But part of this new regime of Tottenham Hotspur has to really look at the mental side of the game. Especially in that aspect of success, because when you can visualize and when you tap into that manifestation side of your brain, I'm not going to say you can thank me for James Maddison, but back in the COVID season, James Maddison was on my FIFA Ultimate Team, man. Like that UEFA card, man, when he was playing in Leicester, and they went on that big European run. And we're going to tap on James Maddison here now on his mental aspect and him maturing. Great pre-match press conference of him saying and realize like on the spot, becoming a man saying, okay, when we were there with Leicester, and they were there with all just vibes because they won the league a couple of years before, right? Or the year before. And they were just there, and they didn't realize what it meant to be in a European semifinal, because his exact words that you might get there a couple times if you play for the big clubs, but really a player's there only once or twice in his career, and he doesn't realize what it means. And so he says now he knows what it means because he's been there before, and that's what experience is in it. And that's what he said to the reporter, because he kind of realized on the spot, wow. And I'm looking to him to lead tonight because he has been there and he hasn't gone over the line. And I'm hoping that stings a little bit so we can kind of use that to these players as motivation.
I think the point you made, Donovan, that's spot on, is that someone like that, this fighter pilot for the Bodo Glimt club, has made probably the average player exceptional, or at least has made the average player believe that they can be exceptional, right? That they don't have the fear. They don't worry about, being worse than the opposition. They don't worry about, the class of the opposing team. They know that they can play their best and that they can channel in their best energy to manifest, a good performance and to play well. And there is that thing that, the mental edge goes a very long way, and also just belief in yourself goes a very long way despite what might be in front of you. And I think that was a very good point that you made there, that he's probably doing that. He's making players that are probably average in terms of quality play exceptional, due to that that mental coach and that mental training.
I was one of them, when all this mindfulness and all this stuff started coming on the scene. It's like absolute horseshit. You know what I mean? But, I think as I'm getting older and the more, I look into it, the more it's just about positive thinking, thinking, just keep thinking about the game, thinking how you're going to perform, what you're going to do, stuff like that. Now, I'm probably going to open a can of worms here, guys, but, is there something to it that this guy isn't your typical doctor, say, has the title of a doctor in front of, like, a psychological coach and stuff like that, and the fact that he's actually been, in the army and stuff like that? Because to be in the army, you've got to have a good mentality. You're facing, life and death situations.
I'll flip you one over, Dave. I'll flip you one over. I think if we're going to employ anyone out of the realms of science and doctors first, we need to employ a witch. We got to get this curse off our club. Because what is it? How many years? 19 years, 20 years, 2 decades now almost, right? No, but seriously though.
Do you think there's something to it though, that this guy isn't just like, he's
not even a football man apparently
with the books and everything else? This guy's come through the army and he's just using his experiences and applying it to the players. He's not a guy that's gone through all the teachings and going to the book and basing it off his advice off books and stuff. Do you think there's actually something to that? Because
I don't think it's anything more than that. I don't think it's anything too more than that, where it's like, oh, the Da Vinci Code, he's got the secret recipe and stuff. No, I think it's just basically introducing professional athletes to the steps of like manifestation and like what it does to your life. Because there's an instant here, a little bit of a tangent. Vancouver Canucks, a local hockey club, NHL, the top level players here in Canada for hockey. And there's a player went and burnt 2/3 of his body, 3rd-degree burns, 20 years old. Doctor said he'd never play professional sport, let alone walk again, right? And so he tapped into that mindset. He realized what it was to do, to put mind over body and the mental aspect of the game. And not only did he play for the NCAA, for those, Jack, who knows what the NCAA is, at the highest level of hockey for Brown University, he got drafted to the Vancouver Canucks and played 4 years professional hockey. So this military man, they train you in the military to sit in like sub-zero temperatures for like extreme temperatures, right? The extreme lengths of time. They treat your body to the absolute limit to unlock that part of your brain that puts it. So it's like when you're in that war zone, you can fight or flight, and you fight. And so we teach that to professional athletes. It's just adding an extra little bit of fuel to that fire, almost like an extra weapon to your arsenal, so to speak. And so why haven't Tottenham Hotspur employed that? I have no idea. I know Arteta does. That's what brought them to the next level. I mean,
well, I've just typed in on Google, and there is one for the women's team. Her name is Dr. Sarah Finley. And I think there is one for the guys' team. I think his name is Bob Tarry or something like that. But obviously, they're not doing a great job, are they? Both teams have been absolutely miserable. But I just wonder, is there something in that? The fact that this guy hasn't come through, the so-called education system and is doing it from a different perspective. I just wonder, is that what's working to their advantage? But Dermo, Soren, any you want to come in on that sort of mental aspect? Is this something that Spurs maybe need to look into moving forward? I mean, I know Eugene says, how can we expect this, mental coaching when we can't even get a physio department together, which I think is absolutely spot on. But do you think there's something to this, guys? And then we'll move in and start talking about the team.
You're on mute, Demo.
I do think there's something to it. I really do. I think sport is about mentality. Half about sport is, one half is about preparing well, and the other half is being mentally strong, that you can go into wherever you're going in to perform at the top levels. You look through sport. There's always, you've got to be strong in any sport you do, either it be Formula One, football, boxing, wherever. And I look, you go to Kevin Keegan, brought in, somebody put in the chat, Eileen Jury, back when he was England manager, to help prepare, different sort of preparing, but help mentally the team. I got back when Steve Collins beat Chris Eubank, he brought in a hypnotist to help him focus his mind. You know what I'm on about, Dave.
Yeah.
To focus his mind on the job what he had to do. And I think you've got to go in. We've got to bring somebody in to focus these players. It doesn't have to anything to do with football. Bring in somebody that's going to focus them on the job, what they have to do for them 90 or 120 minutes. Because footballers minds do wander. If you go 1-0 down, don't let it bother you. You got to be mentally strong to come back from that. And this has been the problem with Tottenham. Mentally, we have not been strong enough. Once we went 1-0 down, we saw it on Sunday, our heads drop. And so mental, I think with any sport, you have to be physically fit, but you got to be mentally fit as well on any sport. So I think it's very important. And you're right, Dave. The people that are in charge of the women and the men's side need sacking, and bring in Steve Collins himself. He'll tell them how
Norwegian fighter pilot. Just give him double his wages.
Yeah, but no, I think you're right,
That's
Dave.
That's it, Dave. Just buy him out.
I know you laugh when I use the Steve Collins thing, but it's a point that he did beat him though. He did beat Chris Eubank that night because of mentality, because he had the mental strength. I am not going to be beaten, and that's what this team needs. It needs a mentality. We can't be. That's why Fergie's teams were so successful. That's why the Liverpool sides were successful in the 70s and 80s, because they had the mentality. We won't be beat, and this Tottenham side don't have that mentality.
Yeah,
and it's sad.
Fair. That's fair. Soren, anything you want to say on that before we welcome in your brother?
I just go along with what everybody's kind of said. That look, when you get to kind of the top of your profession, then the only thing that's missing is the mentality and the guidance, in a sense, because you've proven that you can play football. I mean, all these players that play for Tottenham, as much stick as they get, they're all at the top of their profession. You know, they're all professional players in the Premier League. That means they are within the top 1% probably of footballers in the world, type thing. So the only thing that's missing is the mentality side. And I think somebody said it earlier, the only difference between elite sportsmen and normal sportsmen is the mentality. So good to see me, old brother. I think he's just checking out old folks' homes, ready for his retirement. So
he's driving to Bilbao.
He's flying back home from work. He's booked it off today.
He's never worked a day in his life. Don't you believe him?
I know, right? That's where I get my baby soft skin from.
He sits at home watching telly all day long, I'll tell you now.
I'm just driving around the block to make myself look... I'm driving around the block to make myself look important, like I'm busy.
I just want to know what old people's home, Drew.
Cars in back garden.
I just want to know, Drew, what old people's home you're putting Soren into. Just let us know what you're thinking.
It's called a shallow grave, and it'll be back at garden.
Look, he even brought the Yorkshire accent there, didn't he? Get garden.
I know. I tell you, now, every time I speak to you, it makes me want to go back to roots and come back home.
That's hilarious.
How are you feeling anyway today, Drew?
How's everybody
doing? We're good, my man. How are you feeling?
Do you know what, dude? I'm pumped. I've been distracted at work. As you can all see, I'm driving. I'll tell you what I'm going to do just to be a little bit safe. I'm going to turn that off, just put my phone down for a second. Do you know what? I'm pumped. I've not been able to think of anything at work apart from putting goals past this lot. And I know I should reel it in a little bit. I just can't. I can't help it, lads. Everybody in the chat. I can't help it. Like, I think of... when I think of Tottenham right now, I'm not thinking of the predicament that we're in. I'm thinking of the great club that I've supported my entire life. And it's like chalk and cheese. And I know I got to give this lot the utmost respect. Like, they really, really, I sat and watched a couple of games this week. And honestly, they're blood, sweat and tears. They put everything into the effort of winning or even just playing that I would love to see us do. And I just, it's testament to what you can do in a small country on a small budget. But we are just, if we don't get through this and we don't have a sniff of that final, I'm seriously going to have to reconsider how much effort I put into football. Because, like, for me personally, we're in the position we're in because we're just not good enough. But my heart tells me we just don't deserve to be going through the crap that we're going through.
Yeah.
So I just, I'm really looking forward to tonight. I really, really hope that we start to genuinely see the team that we were supposed to be seeing when all these guys started coming back from injury and full fitness, right? I mean, I and I just want to be able to take breath at the end of it and say, there we go, that's who we're supposed to be. Not it's who we are, it's who we're supposed to be.
Yeah. No, absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on with that. And look, hopefully we can get there. I'm hoping it's a bit like the Ajax. They had a great campaign in 2019, but the semi-final, was one step too far for them. And hopefully it's the same with Bodo Glimt to a large degree. I want to take some comments for the people tuning in at home as well or on the way to the game. Let's keep everybody involved. League Lovers says, thank you guys for all the passion, enthusiasm, and bringing the harsh realities of being a Tottenham Hotspur lifer to air. Says we no longer have to suffer in silence alone. Now, I really appreciate that, League Lover. Very, very kind of you. Look, we suffer together, my man. We suffer together. The Big D says, smash the lights for a comfortable win tonight. Big up the Big D. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, buddy. We've got DG in the house. Says, hey, mate, I actually have a very good feeling about this game for once. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, DG. Good to see you in the house. It's been a while. Hopefully you're keeping well. Good to see that you've got a good feel about today's game. Look, I think many are sort of anticipating this is Tottenham's chance. They're never really, as tricky as Bodo are going to be, Tottenham are never, ever going to get a better chance to be able to get into a European final. We have to seize that tonight. Players have to realise that tonight. They can't buckle under the occasion, the bright lights, because I can tell you, Bodo Glimt won't be, frozen up by that. So we can't tonight. We've got to go out there, start fast, be electric, make sure our pass is nice and crisp, put them under pressure, and let them know exactly where they fucking are. The North London, let them know. Big up, DG. Good to see you, buddy. We've also got Matty Bynum in the house. Says, big up, Dave and Jack. Come on, you Spurs. Got an early ferry home tonight. Spending an hour with the wife and daughter before putting my Spurs shirt on and heading to the pub to join the fellow Yidos. It's going to be awesome. Well, Matty, make sure you get down there nice and early. Get a nice cold when it's a warm evening. Hopefully, again, Bodo Glimt won't be used to that. To a large degree, we can capitalise on it. Good to see. But do you know what? Yourself, Drew, people like that who don't usually get home, in games like this, nice to see everyone making the effort to take time off work and get home. Big up, Matt. You enjoy yourself tonight, my man. Kim as well, good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Rejoin the YouTube membership. And there was a comment there. I can't remember where. I don't see where it's gone, but she said she's happy to be back as a member of the
Thank you, Kim.
community. So big up, Kim. Really appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. We've also got DB in the house. Big up, DB. Very generous of you yesterday, sir. Really appreciate the support, my man. It's a fucking big one today. Hopefully you're not mowing lawns and all that sort of jazz today. Hopefully you're sat inside. You've told the missus it's game day. It's European semi-final. Go and watch Coronation Street in a different room. Today, this is mine. So big up, DB. Good to see you. Beyond 72 has been saying it since the draw was made. Could we go away to Lazio, lose our head in injury time, miss our first pen, but still go through? So I think we need to want it more than them. Absolutely spot on. They're going to be hungry for it. You're absolutely spot on that one. Cyprus Spurs evening, guys, in chat. This game will sum up our season. Come on, you Spurs. It's make or break, that's for sure. Paul Gillespie, great name, says, I've supported Spurs for 50 years, seen them win cups. This is the time the players earn their wages and do this for us. They owe us. Absolutely spot on that one, Paul. Good to see you in the house. Straff and Joe, wow, strap yourselves in for a Spurs goal fest tonight. 5-1 to Tottenham. 1 with Madison, 2 with Solanke, and Tau at 1 as well. The job is done, and 1 for Porro as well. Good to see you, Straff and Joe. We've also got 3 for all. Depends on the individual. Some benefit from it, others don't, and have it themselves within. They have a very good manager as well, to be fair. And you're absolutely spot on. I've always said that, the manager can only shout and bark and instruct you and advise you so much. You have to have the hunger and the desire within to carry it out. You're absolutely spot on there. K32 says, I think sports psychology is hugely important. It's about instilling belief. Absolutely spot on. Shawnee Maddox, good to see you. Dave, we have been complaining about a weak mentality all season. It's obvious a proper coach for mentality would help. Absolutely spot on. Smitty says, Dave, me old mucker, good to see you, Smitty. Hopefully you're keeping well. Paddy D says, cracking open the first of many beers tonight. Come on, you Spurs. You can't say cracking open beers and not give Jack the name of the beer you're cracking over. Come on, Paddy. And Kim says, back as a member, changing cards is messy. Do you know what? I hate all this changing stuff with modern technology and all. It drives me absolutely fucking insane. I just get my missus to do it for me. It's easier, actually. I just don't have the head to do it. I lose my head. But look, I do want to get into maybe talking about, what's the best way about going and breaking these down tonight, because I am anticipating, even if the game plan isn't to sit in, I do think if we play the way we did at home against Frankfurt, we'll dominate possession and naturally we'll sort of force them backwards. So I want to know, and we'll start with this one off Jack, because I think Jack put this question in, so I know that he wants to have a conversation about this. How do we break a team down like that then, Jack? Because it's something we have struggled at. Large parts of this season end up playing this horseshoe football, 5-10 yards, across the midfield, out to the left, back across to right. Can't get sucked into that tonight. So how do we go about breaking these fuckers down if they sit everybody in and block up the middle?
That's a big question, right, that we brought up. Will they actually do it? With the players out, there's a good chance they might. They will try to sort of maybe lessen the attacking impetus, or they might not. Yeah.
But sorry, before we go at maybe the direction of how we do it, let's start with, does it require patience or pace and movement to pull them apart, first of all? And then what areas should we be looking at to expose them?
I don't think it's as much about patience, because I think you do have to try to get it out to the important type of players that can try things, that can, pull off either certain moves, or they can see a pass that maybe others wouldn't do, or they can take it past their man. Because what you have to do is you have to sort of take it past a defender or force a defender to make a mistake, force a defender to come out and address whatever problem might be created by a winger, a creative midfielder like a James Maddison, and the type of chaos that you can produce, in the attacking areas will make, a team end up forcing mistakes. They'll have to, clear it out to areas that they don't want to. They'll have to do panic type defending where they might bring a guy down, or they end up conceding a penalty, or even just they have to stretch out, a big leg to try to put in a block. Once that happens, you never know where the ball might go. You get a lucky bounce. I said before, if you also get good chances to fire a shot at the keeper, pull the trigger, because you never know. The keeper could end up spilling it. The keeper could end up sort of parrying a shot, into an area that he probably doesn't want to, but just has to, just to make a save. And then you see a Richarlison or a Solanke just there for a tap in. When you come up against low block, defensive-minded teams, as much as it sucks, as much as it's ugly to play against, it's just about creating chaos. I do think it's more about moving the ball quickly and trying things, quickly as well. If you go for the horseshoe, patient football, that's exactly what they want. They would love to just see you sort of play 6-yard passes amongst each other, and then eventually just panically just putting one into the box. Once you get it out to a winger, once you get it out to a Madison type player, those are the guys that need to try things and try to open up the defense whatever way they can. Like I said, crosses into the box, firing shots at the keeper, ideally taking it past maybe a man or two as well, which then forces the other defenders to have to commit to you. Because once you take it past one defender, it's not like they're just going to let you just walk towards their goal. Someone will leave their position and try to address you, which then opens up space for others. So, Dave, it's just about being chaos merchants, really. And whichever guys can pull that off tonight would be the ones I hope Postecoglou goes with. And I think that's Tell, Odebear. Ideally, James Maddison can be that guy for us as well, because he does try things. And there are other guys too.
Is James Maddison that guy that, we're looking to step up and unlock that defense? Because in order for that ball to be moved quickly and get movement off the ball, you need that guy that has the capability of playing the passes in behind. I'm not talking about the feet, I'm talking about splitting the centre back and the full back for a winger to run onto and put a good ball across. How important is someone like Maddison tonight then? He's what we bought. It's what we bought him in to do, right?
Ideally, he is that guy that can actually, if there's barely any space at all, he's the guy who could try to play a pass between the lines, in the midfield. If there is a little opportunity for Solanke or Richarlison to make a run in behind, even if there's not much space, he can pull off that pass ideally. Or even too, like I think with Maddison, like he's a guy that can, all of a sudden, when he's being closed down by one or two players, he can pull off, a turn, or he can pull off sort of a hesitation or some sort of kind of, switch of weight, to then just throw off, a player. And then all of a sudden, again, you see maybe little openings, little gaps create. And he's the guy that can see the pass and ideally play the pass. Another thing with Maddison as well is we've seen this before with Romero and him. Maddison sometimes likes to make those intelligent runs beyond the back line, and he looks for that little clip ball over the top that Romero has played for him. So he's a guy that sees space, I think, very well. Lastly, we don't see this a lot with Madison, but you know what, Leicester, man, he used to hit absolute bangers, for them. He used to get a little bit of space and then he could just curl one in, from outside the box. He doesn't do that a whole lot with Spurs. Not sure why, not sure what happened, but maybe he can pull off one of those tonight as well. That's why you have the Maverick midfielders, because back in the day, Dave, there were plenty of teams that just sat back, looked to put majority of their team behind the ball, but you would have, in every team, this Maverick type of midfielder that could just pull off, brilliance maybe in moments that were required, when you needed to have someone just extra technical, someone that is, has that X factor in their game. That's why they're on the pitch. That's why they're wearing the number 10. That's why usually they have the hot girlfriend and all the tattoos and all that type of thing. And Madison's that sort of guy. And we need him to be that guy tonight, but he needs to provide that X factor that other players just don't, guys that can just pull off something that other guys can't see or just simply can't do.
100%, and especially if Bergval's missing, because Bergval is a player that does have that switch of play in him. He doesn't need no fusses about. Sometimes just one touch, bang, 30 yards straight out to the wing or going across the ball. Football can be that simple at times if people get their heads up. But you're absolutely spot on, Jack. People are saying, agreeing with you in the chat. It's all about movement of the ball tonight at speed, but also, movement off the ball. It's important that these wingers are making the movements. Dom Solanke is making the right movements if he starts tonight and stuff like that. You're absolutely spot on. But also, just as much from open play, one thing that doesn't get spoke about enough is you can also keep piling on the pressure if you deliver good set pieces consistently on top of them as well. Corner kicks, free kicks, we'll probably pick up a load tonight. If we can deliver them in properly, we've got some big guys that can get on the end of that ball, that throw themselves at that ball. So it's another way of, keeping the pressure on them tonight, So even from dead ball situations, it's very, very important. Let's take a couple more comments and then I want to open up the floor on what front three we want to see tonight for tonight's game, given that the aim of the game tonight is to create chances and score goals. Tala Hamid, member for 28 months. Big up the panel. Big up, Tala. Long time no see. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Big game tonight. Let's fucking go. Ian Hennessy, member for 3 months. Please, a little hope after this crap season. Look, we're all in the same boat, Ian. We're all praying, begging. At the end of the day, I said this yesterday in the members preview. We're going to probably finish 17th in the Premier League anyway. I'd rather finish 17th and have a Europa League in my ass pocket coming out the back of the season than not. Yes, some would argue, maybe it papers over the cracks and shit like that. But at the end of the day, I just want to win a trophy, my man. I don't care how we get there. And at the end of the day, I'm one of them. I'm a firm believer all this pain is for a reason. In my lifetime anyway, I will get something great off the back of it. Big up Ian Hennessy. We've got Dominique Stewart says, greetings from sunny Madrid, lads. Buzzing for tonight. Let's do this 3-0. Well, if we get there, I might just see you over there. So big up, Dominique. Good to see you. Scotty Hynam, great to see you. Says, smash the like button. Come on. Big up, Scotty Hynam. Sean Brown, just hoping that Vicario has his head together tonight. No panic punching the ball into the air. Come on, you Spurs. All the way to Bilbao. Look, for me, even if he's going to punch it, I don't know when the game's changed, honestly, but the old adage was, if you're not going to catch it, punch it into an area where there is nobody. He just punches it straight out to the edge of the box and go, there you have a shot. It's fucking mind-boggling. So no flappiness from Vicario, because if there is, he's going to be the new Flappy Bird game in 2026. Johnny Maddox says, the problem isn't Madison passing, but players off the ball making runs and being dynamic. No, you're absolutely spot on there as well. But, one thing that annoyed me against Liverpool, Destiny Udogie had a great opportunity to play Matisse Tellin behind the back line. The back line was up nice and high. He doesn't play it and then waits for him to recycle himself, get him back on side and then pass it to his feet. It's like, what the fuck you wanted to do now? Play it in behind. Be brave. Be brave. Big up, Shawnee. Absolutely spot on there. So, guys, let's open the floor. We need to create goals tonight. We can't have long periods of the game where we're watching sideways passing. The onus is on Tottenham Hotspur tonight to go and score goals and kill this game. We can't be patient tonight. Front three is absolutely crucial to this. You don't get this right, we could be very well sitting here at halftime frustrated, not creating a lot, and the atmosphere and the mood really coming down. So the front three is absolutely important and probably the most important selection of this team today. What front three do we want to see? Let's go around the panel.
So we go, for me, it's going to be Tell, then we're going to have Richarlison, and then we're going to have Wilson Odobert. And then I'm dropping Solanke and Brennan Johnson for obvious reasons. I will just say he's an impact sub off the bench. He can run at the back post late in game. And then Dominic Solanke for me. He's a good player. I don't know if he's injured. Is he injured right now?
Tom Solanke, no, I think he's available.
Okay, so then it's based off the fact that Richarlison has just been the biggest shithouse this season, and when he comes in, he scores goals and he bangs around and he throws his body around, and against that resolute defense at the home, and plus he's at home. In front of 66,000, probably 70,000 with standing. I don't think we do standing, but he's going to give it his all, and we know what Dom does. We know what Dom is. He's a calm, composed, pressing striker who can hold the ball up, turn his man. He just hasn't been finishing enough for me to warrant a start. That penalty was good, but I think Richie could have scored that. So yeah, Richie for me, and then open floor, whatever you guys think.
Who are your wingers again? Sorry, Donovan.
The French Tel and Odegaard. Because Odegaard can take his man on. Odegaard can bring the ball down. He has really good technical ability. You can actually give him a ball like it's not a 5-yard pass. You can sewer him a ball. You can clip him a one-time ball. He's got a Mahrez-like first touch that people don't realize enough. And Company saw that, right? Company's like, okay, if we can teach this guy, if we can coach this guy how to like have an end product, you can have a really good player there. He picked the other Frenchman instead from Crystal Palace. Now he's doing bits over in Bayern. I forget his name. Olise, I think his name was.
Olise,
yeah. But Odegaard in that age bracket, right? Odegaard is right up there. Same thing with Tel. Those French wingers that can cut in on their prepared foot. And he'll always take his man on. He's unrelenting, right? And so if we can grease like 50 good minutes out of him where he's constantly just running his player to the red zone, then a Brennan Johnson that's a seasoned $40 million player who costs more than a lot of the Bodo lineups combined should be able to go in, and that's where everyone's going to happen. That's where everyone's seeing these goals are coming from. So for me, that's my starting three.
Anyone else? Does everyone else agree with that? Anyone else maybe have a different selection in the front three?
I think Solanke will start. Odegaard and Tel. I don't see him dropping Solanke just yet. But for me, I think the away game, I would probably play Richie. But tonight, I think it's Solanke. Unless he plays Richie on the left and Richie on the left and Solanke down the middle. But he's not going to. I think it'll be Solanke, Odegaard, and Tel.
No one thinks Johnson's going to play today's start. No one thinks he'll replicate the same front three from Liverpool.
No,
I do.
Why, Dermo?
I just feel tonight it's got Johnson written all over it tonight. I just rarely do. I just feel Johnson tonight will. I know Donovan's shaking his head and everyone's shaking their head at me. What does Dermatron know? Absolutely F4. But I've stuck with Johnson all season, and I'm going to die on that hill. I probably have died on that hill many times. I got knives and everything in my back from the Johnson non-liking brigade. But I'm going to stick with it. Johnson, Solanke, and I'm going with who am I going on the other side? Johnson, Solanke, and Tel. That'd be my front three. And I think Johnson can hurt him tonight. I really do. I think Johnson can hurt him.
How?
Making these darts. I think Johnson can hurt him by darting into their areas.
I'm lagging. Sorry, I need to log back in.
I just think he can. I think he'll dart in there and he'll dart in and he'll do what he does best and tap in the goals for us. I think if you get him in them areas, he will punish you. He will punish them, which he has done this season. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. I know not everyone thinks he's a great player, but I just think he can do it. I think he will pull it off tonight. Tonight could be his night. He could end tonight being a hero for us. And then everyone then will have to wake up tomorrow morning and apologize what they've said about Johnson all season, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Don't you feel like the majority of his tap-ins come against teams that are lesser teams, but also in the lesser games? Like in the big games, he's actually missed the tap-ins.
Yeah, no, I will agree with you that his goals have.
For example, Frankfurt in the first leg, he had 2 glorious opportunities. He missed both of them.
Yeah, no, you're fair with that question that his goals have come against relegation sides. I will grant you that. I will agree with you in that his goals haven't come against the big teams, but you know,
Can I hop in on this for a second here? Like this,
I just very finished on them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just finished my point, and then you can come in. Sorry, I just feel tonight he can do it. I just got a feeling tonight. I mean, I stuck a $5 on getting 2 goals tonight. I stuck a bet on it that he'll get a double tonight. That's how confident I am.
Oh, there you go.
Let me proof of that.
I don't need to prove anything, but I have actually in my local bookies. I went down and stuck a $5 on it.
I think it has nothing to do with who's right, who's starting, or whatever. We just all want, like, obviously this team to go through. But on this point here on Maisie's adventure, yeah, I agree with that as well. Like, artificial turf is a game. It's almost like a different game in general, where some players excel on it, some people don't. Some people brain can't comprehend the bounce of the ball because it's a perfect ball. It's like a perfect bounce every single time. And so players that really excel on it are the technical players, right? Like I'd love to see Mahrez play on that pitch, but we don't. So we have to see Odegaard play. And I in the second leg, yeah, that'd be nice. But anyway, I just want to say that comment about the pitch. Yeah.
I think if we do start Brennan Johnson tonight, I think it'll be the wrong selection. I don't think you can start him and Dom Solanke in the same team. I think, you know, when it comes to, for me, out wide, you know, if they are going to sit in and block up the middle, you need your winger to be able to demonstrate he can take on his man frequently and deliver frequent crosses into the box. Yes, Brennan Johnson has probably got a little bit better since Odegaard has shown him the way, but you know, Odegaard has also demonstrated he can arrive in at the right time. You know, he done it against Azi Alkmaar. That's part of the reason why we're sitting here. He's part of the story. So for me, I just think, you know, in order to capitalize on the excitement of fans, we want to see exciting wingers. And right now, you know, they're the two options that are giving us that excitement to a large degree. So for me, I just think if you play Johnson, I think, you know, this could be a long evening. I think we've got to try and go with our, you know, players that want to try and provide a spark and want to take on their man from the very beginning. Because if not, because one thing with Brennan Johnson is, and the big difference is, a lot of times when he gets that ball, he just passes it back inside or backwards, you know, and that's where the horseshoe football comes around. You know, and then you're just relying on us attacking down the left-hand side and putting the ball in the box and hoping he can arrive in at the right place. But the reality is, if it's in the air, he won't get on it. It's only when the ball comes across on the ground that he really scores from. So you're actually neutralizing your right-hand side to a large degree. So for me, I would give Wilson Odegaard that opportunity. I think Johnson has a pivotal part to play off the bench tonight. I think when they're tired, when the game's a little bit more open, I think that's where you bring him in. Get him on a couple on the end and try to gloss up the scoreline if we can. That's the way I would go about it personally tonight. I just think if you start Johnson, I just think, you know, you're lacking a lot of creativity from the very beginning, and it would concern me.
Since I've got Mikey Moore.
Well, Mikey Moore is not available, and he definitely isn't starting tonight.
He's not going to walk in.
It's going to be Johnson or Odegaard. It's the big question. It's the
no matter how much I want him to, he's just not going to walk.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ange plays Johnson because he loves him. At the end of the day,
oh yeah, he does love
plenty of times when we least expected it, and he loves to play him. You know.
Hey, throw one more spanner in. What about Kulu on the right?
Well, I mean, Kulu could come in for Bergvall, which we're going to get onto in just 1 minute. But what I do need to do, guys, is take a moment, because people are going to do a lot of traveling with these semi-finals and hopefully with the final. And what you do need in your back pocket, ladies and gentlemen, is a NordVPN. Jack's gracefully going to put the link in there. We're going to put it up on screen, but it's also pinned on the chat. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know what a NordVPN does, basically it allows you to bounce your location around the world, and basically it helps you shopping for flights, accommodation, stuff like that. You shop around, you can get them at cheaper prices elsewhere. But not only that, live sporting events that maybe aren't available in your region, or when you're traveling, you can't watch all the subscriptions that you may possibly have. Well, simply, instead of just going around buying different subscriptions and all, get your NordVPN and you can tune into the subscriptions you already have, no matter where you are in the world. And then the next obvious question is going to be, Dave, if we are doing all this shopping and saving all this money and getting the best prices, what about security? It's big in this modern day world. Well, if NordVPN have thought about that, it's premium cybersecurity for the price of a cup of coffee a month. And you will regret it if you don't have that and something happens to you when you're online. But God forbid it doesn't. And it also protects your bank details as well. So it's double. It's not just, oh, it allows you to watch telly. It also keeps you secure and all your personal information secure while you're also online as well. So I recommend, with all the traveling we're going to be doing as Spurs fans, to have that NordVPN. There's a lot of people in the chat that have already got it, and they absolutely love it. So make sure you get across and get yours. Get across to nordvpn.com now. 2-year plan there with the code FLATCAP, and you get a nice discount. 30-day back money guarantee as well. If you don't enjoy the product, but there are other offers available there as well. So make sure you get over and check that out. And the big bonus for it is, guys, is that you can have it onto up to 10 devices. So you don't have to keep the secret to yourself. Your whole family can do it. If you're making a family trip out to Bilbao, well, then everyone can use it. One, NordVPN for every device. So make sure you get across and get that. Jack, anything I missed?
Anytime that you're traveling, everybody, it's good to have it, whether you're catching up on some shows in the middle of something, on the way to a new country or someplace, always good to have it. And I'm going to be using it very, very soon when I'm over in England for my Temptation Island brain rot, and as well as also just being able to nerd out to any sort of Champions League streams and Conference League, all that good stuff while I'm out there. I won't have to worry about some sort of BBC type subscription or anything to get only one time. I can just move myself back to Seattle, Dave.
Exactly. So there's so many perks to it, guys. Make sure you get on yours. That's nordvpn.com, code FLATCAP. Try it for 30 days or money back guaranteed. So make sure you get on that. Big up NordVPN. Do you know what? If we do get to Bilbao, we've got to thank NordVPN. Maybe they're their lucky charm. So big up. And guys, there's nearly 800 people in the house. We're actually like 6 people off 800. So what I do encourage all of you guys to do as well, which this one is free, you can smash that like button, which will help push us out in the algorithm. Or if you're joining the stream, why keep the best kept secret in town? Share it out to people. Let them know. If you're a Spurs fan for the semi-final, for the final pre-game, this is the place to be. So make sure you share that out. But Søren, you wanted to get on and talk about Deki, a.k.a. Dejan Kulusevski, a.k.a. the big fucking ginger from Sweden. Where do you think he's going to play tonight? If Bergvall, say, isn't available, is it simple to say that he slots in that position in the midfield? And look, to be fair, many people said they want to get back to Maddison and Kulu in that midfield.
Yeah, I mean, I just think with Kulu, I know a lot of people don't like him on the wing, but I think he does offer us something. He offers us a bit of covering defence on the right. He makes that right-hand side a bit more stronger, but I mean, we've got to wait and see whether Bergvall is playing or whether it's just another one of those smoke screens.
I knew you were itching to get on it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen, other than what's been said in the chat and by Matty Hayes earlier. I haven't heard anything. I don't know. I think Dermo says Dolly's been telling him as well. But look, if he's out, he's out. If he's not, he's not. We've seen this so many times. But if he is out, then maybe Kulu will play in the middle. I don't know. I just like to see him on the wing. I think he just shores it up a little bit, and it's just another good player. Bergvall, Maddison, and Kulu all on at the same time could be the difference. But
is that too attacking?
Pardon?
Is that too attacking? Do we leave ourselves open if we put that many attacking players out on the pitch?
Look, I think at home tonight with the crowd behind us, we've got to be attacking. I think it's one of those games where, yes, we know that they can, that they might be able to do it. But while they've got some players out, I think we've got to go for the jugular tonight. Why not go all out and absolutely overwhelm them for a change like we get sometimes? So, yeah, I mean, for me, just go for it. And if that means Kulu starts, I don't think he will start on the wing, but, it was just another option that might be there if the midfield's packed out as well.
Be very interesting. I'm still sort of leaning on the side that they're trying to catch them all out with this one, but we'll wait and see. I have seen images, on the videos where Bergvall wasn't in the squad, but I remember I got caught out with that earlier on in the season. I think it was actually with Wilson Odegaard earlier on in the season. Yeah, he was in the squad. So let's wait and see. I think lineups are 15 minutes away, or not even
8 minutes away.
Like 8 minutes away. So we'll find out then. Drew, let's get you in, my man. I mean, look, absolutely brilliant to have you on one of these European ones. Midfield, front line, what do you want to see tonight?
Do you know, I'm kind of in agreement with Donovan that I really want to see Tell and Odegaard on the wings. I've just got a feeling he's going to go with Solanke because I think Solanke's got more minutes in him at the moment. But I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. If he has to push the boat out, if things aren't looking amazing after 50, 60 minutes, I could see a scenario where potentially you've got both of them on the pitch and you have Richarlison on the left and Solanke down the middle. But I'm hoping it's not going to get to that. I've already put 4-0 on this one. That was my prediction, and I don't know. I just think we're just going to be too much for them, given the situation that they're in, not being able to play. I just don't think they're going to be quite be able to play the game that they want to play, just because with their absences. And I just think it gives us an opportunity to really turn the screw. I'd really like to see, I think this might be the opportunity if we're going to do it. I mean, they've all been sort of reserving their energy and kind of been checked out in the league. So I think if we're going to see the closest thing resembling to whatever this Ange ball you want to call it, just a super high press. Like, I just want to be all over them. They don't have their linchpins in midfield. So I would like to think that their defense is going to be a little bit hesitant, maybe, or just a bit more, just half a second more than they would be. But yeah, so potent up
just
front.
Quickly, Drew.
Yeah,
that high press that you mentioned, that's absolutely crucial tonight. If you actually go back and look at the Frankfurt home game where we created them chances, the reason why is we pressed them, we forced that goalkeeper to kick it long, and Romero van de Ven just recycled it all night long. You're absolutely spot on.
I will not. There can be absolutely no excuses if we've been fed the line, because for weeks, right? I was sitting here mulling it over last night, and I was on this channel, and I'm not necessarily going to say I mudded myself, because I just 10, 12 games ago, I remember sitting here with very much the same group saying there's still 33 points to play for in the league and we can do something. And continuously, week on week, it's just gone to shit. And I just could not believe how bad we could possibly get. And now we've gotten to the point where all the eggs are in one basket. The players have been saved. The players have harped on about how, James Maddison last night in his presser, he's hurting. Well, do you know what? Go out and actually show it. Go out.
He said he's playing for Ange as well. Do you believe
that? Right. Like, go out there and put on a performance. Like, actually step up and have a lot of us at the end of this game sitting here going, all right, that was the James Maddison that we all thought we were getting. And that goes for a couple of them out there,
Who else?
I mean, I think if Johnson gets a run out, I think he has to make a mark. I think he has to be relentless. I think if he's going to get, 20, 30 minutes, or even if he starts, then it has to be, I need to see him pressing his fullback, and I need to see him marking up when needs be. There can't be any wiggle room, right? Just like there can't really be any wiggle room in terms of Tottenham as a club really needing to win this thing to push on. Tonight, if you take that macro picture as a micro picture, it starts tonight. Yeah. Everyone has got to be relentless, 100% committed. And if there's any less than that, then you got to question some of them.
You'd almost say to these players, if I was Ange to a certain degree, I'd almost say to these players, you got a clean slate tonight. Forget what's going on. This season comes down to 3 games tonight, next Thursday, and the final. You got a clean slate, make your own history, forget everything else that's gone on before. Let's see if they can do that. You're absolutely spot on. But Dermo does have to bounce out. I know he's got his own things to go and set up and do. So big up, Dermo. I really appreciate your time this afternoon, my man. Dermo, one thing I will be asking everybody before I let them go this evening, so I'll ask it for you. It's not going to be a score prediction. It's something a little bit different. If you could speak directly to the players before kickoff tonight, what message would you give them before they step out at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
This is from the heart, actually. This is me genuinely how I feel. Make sure. Remember who you are. Remember why you wear that shirt. Remember why you wear that cockerel. And do it just not for yourselves. Do it for the club. Because we, the fans, are the club. You do it for them. Week in, week out. They pay your wages. Remember, Bill Nick said that to a player once. Why are we Tottenham Hotspur? We're Tottenham Hotspur because we, the fans, are Tottenham Hotspur. So you go out tonight and you pay for them fans. It's all about that there. It's all about paying for the cockerel. Play for that. Forget everything else. Forget everything. Forget egos, everything. Yeah. You play for that badge. You pay for that cockerel. And you play in the Bill Nick spirit. You're paying the Tottenham way. to dare us to do. Go out and fucking show us.
Absolutely love
Love
that.
it, John.
Absolutely love that. That's stiffy material. That's spine tingling. Dermo, what's coming up on the channel? What do people need to get across?
Yeah, if you want to hear me talk absolute delusional horseshit, you can come over, which I normally speak to.
You gotta plug yourself better, man. You gotta plug yourself better.
No, look,
What
I've got over there.
Tell them what you're good at, Dermo.
I'm good at talking me. No, we've got a lot of stuff coming over. We've got the watch along tonight. We've got Final Score later. Tomorrow we've got the reaction, and then we've got the build up for the end of the season coming in the summer. We've got transfer shows. We've got history shows coming up. I'm starting a new show on this day in history, which I'm going to do daily. What happened in the years gone by at Tottenham. And yeah, we've got a lot of new stuff over there. We're going to really kick on in the summer, and then starting next season, we've got a few new shows starting as well. So it's about rebranding, not rebranding, but it's about getting together. We nearly got next season content already sorted. But yeah, come over, join myself, join Steve as well from Stateside Footy, join James and Colin, and let us take you through the rest of this season and start next season. But do it here first, lads. These are the lads that give me my break. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for David Jack. And I'm being honest now. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for these two lads. And they gave me the confidence to come on and do what I do. And I love what I do. And I'm good at what I do. And these lads give me the confidence to do it. So please, if you come over to me, lovely. Thank you for that. But also hit here, Jack, and let's make Dave's dream come true. Get him to Bilbao. Get him and Jack there. And let's see a live pre-match build-up from Bilbao. All of us there.
And you can do an empanada.
And also, lads, I can't wait to the Palace game. And Dave, I'll see you in the Dublin airport Friday week. And I see you Friday week as well, Jack. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you, man.
I'll see you soon, Dermo.
Come on, you Spurs. 5-0 coming tonight.
Big up, Dermo.
5-0. Come on, don't let me down.
Come on, you Spurs.
And also, Bergville is in the team. I did put it in the chat that he was playing tonight. So there you go. If I'm not, then he isn't. But come on, you Spurs.
The lineup should be out in the next minute or so. So big up there. I'm
going to hang on for a minute. I am going to hang on for a minute, just for 1 minute, to see the lineup.
But guys, let's maybe quickly pivot then to a little bit on maybe Christian Romero while we're waiting on the lineup. Some Spurs fans have had enough of Christian Romero this season, and especially off the back of his interview at Spurs Lodge, they want him gone. If he helped carry us to a final, would that be enough to win supporters back on his side? Or do you think his reputation is tarnished? Because, once people made their mind up on Ange very quickly, he hasn't really been able to get people back on side. Do you think Romero could?
No.
Anyone?
I genuinely think, and that's not to say that I wouldn't want him to change his mind, but I think his mind's made up that he wants to go and play in Spain. I don't think the club are going to match the ambitions that he's got for himself, and I just think it's think it's going to come to its conclusion. Do I want him to go? No. I think he's a fantastic footballer on his day. I think the way that he plays out from the back and breaks lines with some of his passing is like laser, just pinpoint, like laser accurate, and you don't go out of your way to lose a player like that. You know,
you don't see that nowadays.
I genuinely. Unless he turns around, if we win this thing and they go to him and they offer him a big old package and he can be turned, then absolutely, of course. I just think let's face it, it's been a bit of a shit show since he's arrived, right? And also, I mean, let's look at the fact that he's missed nearly 2 seasons of Premier League's worth of games. In between him being suspended and injury, he's missed like 70, 71 games, something like that. That's 2 full Premier League seasons almost. So there's also this.
Well, someone put in a stat in our chat the other day, Drew, saying that, despite his injuries, he's actually been available for 2/3 of Spurs' games since he's been here. I don't know how true that is. You're more than you look into all this. You're more than likely to be able to tell me.
I mean, even if you're available for 2/3, I mean, is that really enough when we're trying to do what we're trying to do? And, for me, I think like Sean Butler says, the best ability is availability, and 2/3 just doesn't really cut it for me. So on the basis that you're going to get more than you paid for him, and on the basis that his heart's not in it, I think it's probably best. But that being said, if you can get him fully committed again to the cause, and you can say, look, here's 250 grand a week, we're going to blow our wage budget for you, and this is X, Y, and Z player that we'd like to try and get in, and we really want to make a push on a couple of fronts, and you can convince him to say, all right, do you know what? I'll do a couple of year extension. Then happy days. I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to push the guy out of the club, but I just genuinely think he's got heart-shaped eyes for Madrid.
No, look, fair enough. I think many people are worried about that as well. Soren, Donovan, let's get your thoughts on that. You've been quiet.
Oh, he started. I knew it. I should have said it.
What is Bissouma doing in the lineup, man?
What? Oh, fuck. So let's call out the lineup. We've got Vicario in goals, Pedro Porro at right back, Romero Van de Ven at centre back with Destiny Udogie at left back, Yves Bissouma, Rodrigo Bentancur, and James Maddison in the midfield. Johnson off the right, Solanke through the middle, and Richarlison off the left. Well, let's have a look at this bench. On the bench, we have... sorry, Jack, just go down a little.
Oh, sorry. You have Brandon Austin, Whiteman, Spence, Davis, Danzo, Gray, Sar, Kulusevski, Mikey Moore, Odebear, and Tell.
So you'd only hazard a guess. No, Borgval, that leaked rumor has been true with him not in the squad. Very surprised Tell's not starting. Very surprised Odebear's not starting. Very surprised Bissouma is starting. A lot of people saying that's a dead lineup. They're not really too happy with it. Look, let's go through the panel. Let's get your thoughts on the lineup in general. Dermo, we'll go with you quickly because I know we have to let you go.
Yeah, really shocked. I don't like the likes of Bissouma in there. I'm happy with the rest of it. I'm really happy with the rest of it, actually. I think that's a team that can do a job
You'll have
tonight.
to question your source now, Dermo.
Yeah, I do. Look, I live and die by them, and I will do. And I use, it's not my usual ones. I use a different one. But yeah, no, he's wrong and I'm wrong. So I'd hold my hands up and admit I was wrong. So
no, Borgval.
I just feel. But look, we can't always get it right all the time. But when I'm wrong, I will put my hands up and say, look, I'm wrong. So
how do you feel on the lineup though, Darmy? You'd play it a little. A lot of people they're not really happy with it.
Look, apart from Bissouma, I think it's a good line. I think the front three's interesting. Maddison, I agree with everything Drew said. Pardon?
Could it be a 4-4-2 with Maddison out on one wing and Johnson out on the other, and then Solanke and Richarlison up front together?
I was just thinking that. I was thinking that, or a 4-2-4.
No better time for an experiment and a semi-final first leg.
Yeah, right.
I'm ready on that bombshell. We'll leave here now. I'm going to get a bottle of whiskey. All right, on that bombshell. Speak to you later.
Dermot, have a good evening, my man.
You do.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
See you, brother.
Bye.
See you soon, my man. Oh, well, look, let's go to Donovan. Donovan, let's get your thoughts on the lineup, my man, and then let's get your score prediction.
I was a bit explosive there for a second, but I calmed down, and I can see it. I can see what he's cooking. I can see he's cooking.
What's he cooking? Tell us. Enlighten us.
I'm thinking it's 4-2-3-1. And he's going to go in hard because Bodo Glimt's going to come in and they're going to hack us down. They're going to be hard. They're going to be physical. And those two wingers are going to drop a bit lower on the pitch. And Richie and Brennan Johnson are going to be really going to try and earn us like yards up the pitch. And then we're going to try and push them up like that. We're going to try and lock that midfield down. I don't see any other reason other than why we have two holding midfielders. And then Maddison gives Maddison all that space in the midfield to kind of be that maverick. Then he can run and he can kind of he can go wing to wing, he can go box to box. He can kind of just operate on the whole space like a classic Ericsson, like we saw Ericsson back in the day do. Pick up balls low, pick up balls high, and really kind of, like you said, spray those passes where in between the center backs out to those the wingers, right? And really just a classic Tottenham Hotspur 10 performance. So we're looking at Maddison today. We know what Brennan Johnson is going to bring to the table. We know what Richarlison is going to bring to the table. A big day from Dom up front. Bentancur is the one out really well on the ball. I don't really want Bissouma on the ball too much. I just want Bissouma to do what he does well and just anchor. When he goes on walkabouts, that's when he's susceptible. That's when he does into dumb tackles. That's when he does last-ditch tackles where he doesn't need to do them. But when he plays centrally and he is in a 20-foot radius, that's when he starts being confident. So he can do the turns, and that's when you see the Bissouma of the first 10 games of the Ange era. That being said, I've dropped my score from 4 goals to 1 to 2 to 1. I think we're going to win this game 2-1. And it's going to be a grimy game. And I don't know if it's going to be our fault. We're giving them way too much respect. But maybe Annecy's something we don't, and maybe Bodo Glimt are a lot more resilient than a lot of us think they are, and it's going to be a hell of a harder game than we give them credit for. So
I just hope that his defeat to them against Celtic hasn't affected him changing his whole thing up here tonight and trying to surprise them with something different. Look, if it works, he's a genius. If it doesn't work, he'll end up looking like a buffoon. I really can't wrap my head around what it is. I think you might be right, Donovan, with the 4-2-3-1 Maddison, because when you look at that front three, maybe the plan is to get Maddison, slide Johnson in, slide Richarlison in, Solanke. They are the three scorers of the front line, so maybe that's the case. But I don't know. I don't know about this lineup. Look, I'm going to get behind it for ahead of kickoff. I'm going to back the team. Hopefully, they can go and score goals and all, but I'm just a little bit apprehensive about this lineup. Let's go down to Soren. Soren, you're the eternal happy clapper. Calm my nerves.
I'm speechless.
Oh, no.
This wasn't in the build-out plans.
I kind of said Richie and Solanke up front.
You did.
I still see it 4-3-3. Bissouma, Bentancur and Maddison in midfield. Johnson right. Solanke up front. Richarlison left. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked Bissouma. It's look, whether he's gone back to that sort. I know it was Pap Sarmore, but tried to do that 3 that was so good at the beginning of his tenure with Maddison, Bissouma and Bentancur and Starr and Bentancur. But I am surprised with the front 3 to start. Kind of think this would be more of a team to play out there in a sense, a little bit more solid in midfield, rather than sort of elusive and free flowing. But look, it's not the team I expected. I'm really shocked at Bissouma in there. Richarlison and Solanke starting doesn't shock me as much. But yeah, Bissouma, I am gobsmacked with that one.
Seems like the guy was out the door.
Yeah. Well, I did. I mean, maybe he's stepped up in training. Maybe he's been putting some really good sessions in. So look, let's not get down. It has not.
I think I might need to ask him where he got them fucking balloons. I might need.
I think Ange had a balloon before he picked the lineup.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just a panic from Ange. Obviously, Bergvall is out. Look, doesn't matter which team we put out there. We've still got to go and win it. I think Bissouma's the only real big shock in there. I know we all expected probably Tell and Odegaard to start, but obviously there's a reason behind it. And let's just get behind the team. And I'm still going to go with a 3-1.
3-1. Absolutely. Yeah. Look, love the confidence. Do you know what? One player I'm excited to see out on that pitch tonight is Richarlison. I do make the argument. I think he knows out there sniff out a chance.
Especially on corners, man.
Yeah. My only problem is where the cross is going to come from. Richarlison ain't known for his crosses. Johnson's not known for his crosses. So my big concern is where them crosses are going to come.
You think they're going to overload that one right side with Poro, and then we're going to have John and hit Rich on that back post? Like, come in like that.
Could be the case. Very well could be the case. I think
Poro's got that world-class delivery, and if we can get him moving, if we can do that horseshoe football a little bit, get him moving, panicking, and then hit Poro with like at least 30 seconds to put a good cross. We got who we got up there? We got Solanke. Just Bentancur likes a header, Richie is obviously in there, but Bissouma, man. Sorry, I cut you off, Soren.
No, the only two players that we're really heavily reliant on to get the crosses in tonight then is Maddison and is Pedro Porro. Heavily reliant on them. Look, interesting lineup. Let's wait and see what happens. But I do struggle to see where the service is going to come from in terms of, because all them 3 players, they want to be in the box. So I'm concerned where the service out wide is going to come from. But maybe the plan is to hold your 2 DDMs or CDMs, overload them out wide with the fullbacks going forward and, getting the crosses in that way. But look, let's wait and see what happens. It's really hard to know what to make of it. And then down to you, Drew, my man. I mean, you were very enthusiastic coming into the game. As that lineup killed that enthusiasm, or do you back it?
I'm pretty sure I broke a couple of laws getting home for this, and then this dropped. But I tell you what, to be in all honesty,
are we making a mountain out of a molehill? Should we be back?
Well, can somebody? Sorry, I missed this one. Is there rumours that Bergvall's out for the season or something, or what?
Yeah.
Oh,
so someone broke on Twitter earlier on today saying Bergvall's out for the season. And he said,
right.
I've never been wrong so far. So I actually need to go and follow that account.
Right.
He said he's never been wrong, and he was adamant with it. And, he's not in the lineup.
Do you know what? For the sake of where we are in the season, for the sake of what's on the line, I'm in my head, I'm just getting, and this isn't calling anybody out, suggest anything other, but I'm hoping, I'm trying to manifest the Basuma that we saw against Manchester United, where he was all over the place and he was putting in tackles and he was just making himself busy. And in my head, this team tonight, especially again, given what Bodo are having to go through and deal with their players missing, I've got a feeling we could be peppering these guys with crosses. The reason that Ange doesn't like to cross, I think, is because deep crosses from kind of maybe, where Beckham used to cross it in or where Porro likes to get it in. I think he's adverse to that because I think he fears that it gives the ball back to the opposition too much. And I think for some reason he seems to think that getting to the byline with low crosses, I think he just has a reason for preferring one over the other. I think this lineup suggests that you might see, even though I think it's a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, I think you're going to see Richie and Solanke in the box making themselves busy.
Yeah.
And I think you could see a lot more crosses than you're used to, given that they have issues with their defenders not being there. And then also the fact that they don't have their linchpins in midfield. I think you're going to see a super high press. I think you're going to see Maddison and Bentancur hunt them down to try and get the ball back really quickly. And I think you're going to see Basuma in potentially like a traditional 6 just sitting there holding everything together. That's how that lineup is what gives me those pictures in my head. So I don't know, man. I could be way off, but I feel like there's going to be high pressure and maybe a lot of balls into the box.
I think you've tried to explain what you think the game plan is, and
I need an early beer.
Give me something to try and wrap my head around because
get on it, man.
I've really been struggling to sort of wrap my head around it, to be honest with you. I do agree with you. That probably is the game plan tonight. Keep them penned in their half, put the pressure on and whip balls into the box. But if you're heavily reliant on Porro and Maddison, eventually they will come up with a plan to stop that. But look, let's wait and see. I'm not giving up hope yet. Big Rich is on the pitch, which hopefully means there will be goals tonight. But guys, I want to say, we'll go take this from RHT first. RHT says that front line is criminal. Like Dave says, it's going to be a long night with Johnson. With that said, what's everyone's game meal? Look, I hope it's not a long night with Johnson. To be honest, I hope he scores within the first 3 minutes and I'm singing his name. I'm shameless like that. I'm absolutely shameless. I hope that's the case. I just struggle to see where the actual creativity is going to come from. It could be the 2 holding midfielders or it could be a 4-4-2. Let's wait and see what happens. Everyone's game meal. Look, I think I might have to ring up Mr. The Indian. I think I might have to ring him up, or he'll probably ring me if he's watching the game. He's probably got the game on the telly. He'll watch it and then he'll ring me. He'll be like, Dave, we have it ready. Be here in 15. So that's probably what I'm having tonight, my man. Jack?
I'm probably going to go on a long train ride after this game, regardless of the result, and get myself another 100-pack of tortillas and make more tacos, my comfort food, RHT, and then probably another 6-pack because I might need to finish it during this game.
Donovan, anything? Oh, you're in work, so you probably have to have lunch, not dinner.
Yeah, I just got a bowl of popcorn waiting for me and a Diet Pepsi, and I can watch the first half, and hopefully the game's over and dusted by half.
That would be nice with that front three. I'm not quite sure that's going to be the case, Donovan. But look, let's wait and see. I hope for your sake it is. Does
anyone think that is there storyline out there where Bodo have completely underestimated us because we're such a sack of arse this year that they've gone, lads, it's Tottenham, and they've just rolled up thinking that they'll turn us over, and we're actually just going to give them a spanking.
I mean, that
Very well
still
could
easily
be
could
the
happen.
case.
But
But
I
from
don't think
my
they expected this lineup. That's for sure. There's no way Bodo was
Right.
expecting this lineup.
Like, what I will say is, when the draw was, like, when Bodo found out with Spurs, there's no doubt they'll be licking their lips going,
Right.
anyone can turn them over, you know. Even Ennis Moore fancy turning us over, and they did, you know. So I've no doubt they'll be licking our lips. But from what I've seen with their dressing room, like, they made a massive blunder. The two players that are suspended tonight in Elvin and fucking Iceberg, with them two guys, they thought that the suspensions would be wiped heading into the semi-final. They
Right.
only realized a day or two ago, and apparently, you know, it really caused a bit of nervousness within the dressing room. So
Yeah.
maybe they could be coming here a bit nervous. Maybe it's something we can capitalize on, because that did come out that they said they'll be happy with a 2-0 defeat or a 3-1 defeat. They fancy beating us at home. So maybe look.
How
maybe
is
it's
it? I thought all of the cards got wiped off after the last round. So was that just a mistake? No, I misunderstood.
No, well, apparently they don't. Apparently that wasn't the case. They thought that was the case. Admin error on their behalf.
Yeah.
They were planning.
That's like
for
us when we did the European squad list and we messed up, or we did the loan and we had to give Doherty away or something. It's just bad admin stuff, man. Yeah, so that could cost a club, man.
Yeah, hopefully it cost them.
Did they not say that the cards have been wiped, but if you did get a suspension in the last game, you would still be suspended?
Oh,
I'm sure
that
I've
makes
read
sense. So
somewhere-
they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
That
I've
makes
read
perfect
somewhere
sense.
that they can't be banned for the final with the yellows.
Yeah.
Unless it's a red
So
card.
if your second yellow card was in the last game, the suspension still
Your
counts.
suspension
But it's
still
not like if
counted.
you'd have got
Yeah.
one last game and this game,
Yeah,
it
you
wouldn't
wouldn't
count
be.
for the next. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm
Nice one,
sure
brother.
I've read somewhere that, you know, if you do get, say, a yellow in this and a yellow in the next, you're not suspended for the final. So,
Well,
Yeah.
you know, that's
I
good
could be
news for
wrong.
our players. They love yellow cards, our players. They're
Put one
addicted to
in.
them. The Big D says, I can safely say nobody predicted this
Yeah.
team. Absolutely nobody, my man. Absolutely no one. Look, it's the unknown. Hopefully that unknown element even catches them off, you know, to the guard, because it certainly caught us off. So hopefully, if we're
Let's
caught
say
off
though,
guard,
Dave,
hopefully it catches them off.
if Bissouma plays well and Benton, that is a strong team if they play well. If they're on form tonight, it's a strong team. If Bissouma's plays like he has been, but you know, that's the weak link.
Yeah.
Scared
Yeah,
of
apart from-
Basuma's
hang on
first
a minute,
touch going all the way to Norway.
Right. Apart from Richarlison, is that not the same? Is that not like the first team from the first 10 games of last season, essentially?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can make that
Apart from
argument.
Solanke as well, I guess.
Yeah, you could make that
That's
argument.
played, didn't it? Wasn't it Sarr and Bissouma?
Yeah, it was Sarr and Basuma, but yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
the majority of the lineup is decent. I think many people are just concerned what Basuma we're going to get today. We're going to get the
Right, I
Basuma
think
against
that's-
Rangers, you know, and
sure.
the Basuma that often
I can't
switches
stop looking at him. I'm just staring at him, dude. He's gonna give me nightmares just freaking this, dude.
I know, yeah, I know. Honestly, that guy is just liable to fucking mess up. But
Hey, look,
we do need to
I
start
mean,
wrapping this. Go on.
If you look at Benton Kerry, he's just heard the news that Bissouma's playing.
Yeah. That was us fans' reaction. We were like, right, seriously, come on out with the real lineup. April Fools was ages ago. But look, you know, I think where the concern comes in is just this front three. What's it going to produce? Let's wait and see. But we do need to start wrapping this up, guys. So we're going to go through everybody. Like I said, I'm not really going to ask for a score prediction today. But what I am going to ask everybody is if you could speak directly to the players before kickoff tonight, what message would you give them before they step out at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? And we'll start with you, Donovan, and we'll work our way down.
Lads, you have a moment now to go down in history. 90 minutes of football awaits. Once you step out those doors, there's no going back. I can't do anything once you step off the line. And then I tell them, hey, we'll set up this way, and we'll come back at half. If it's fucked, we'll fix it at half. But give me 45 minutes of solid effort, and we'll see at half. I'd also tell them, hey, approach it 4 quarters of football. First half, second half, first half, second half. Don't blow your load in the first half. And if we can't give Bodo Glimt this much respect. because they're not going to go out and blow 4 or 5 goals past us. But hold on those first 15, 20 minutes too, because you can't concede anything as well. But go out, pepper them, use that 60,000 crowd. And yeah, screw it. 3-1. We'll be there. But yeah, I have this book there. I was rambling on, waffling earlier. If you want a good read, those who likes books nowadays in 2025, it touches on an NHL athlete who overcame with the power of his mindset. And we touched on the Bodo Glimt's military officer there in their ranks. And it's just good for those who like good, compelling stories of overcoming and the kind of human spirit. And it kind of goes in aspect of what we're trying to do as Tottenham and overcoming this really, really shitty season, because it's really been a crappy season. So we have something to do, something special. 3 more games. Let's do it, lads.
Nippy Down Under says Donovan has definitely given this speech to his partner before. Absolutely love that. Soren, same to you, my man. What would you say to these guys heading out into a
I think Andy's going to say, Daniel's already ordered me a taxi for the end of the season. If you lot go and fuck this up tonight, he's getting a bus. No, look, I mean, in all seriousness, the only thing he can say to these players is go out there and show some pride, because you haven't all season, and tonight's the one night where you can give something back to the fans. You can get a little bit of pride back into this club and go out there and just entertain.
Yeah. Well, look, he loves the word entertain, doesn't he? You know that. Do you know what? That probably will be exactly how he ends off his speech. Actually, you're absolutely spot on there. Summer, go out there and entertain. Drew, you as well, my man. Any rousing speeches?
You're on mute, bro.
You're on mute, lad.
Mute. We will fight them on the beaches. We will. I would. Do you know what? I would tell them that now. I say it's not often that you get to make history as a human being, and they're in a very, very privileged position that they get to make some form of history week in, week out, breaking records and this, that, and the other. But this is Tottenham, and this history will hit just a little bit different. You know, when the likes of your Chelseas and your Manchester Uniteds and your Manchester Cities and that lot up the road, when they lift the trophy, they're kind of used to it. We're starved of it, absolutely starved, and there is a chance for them to write some genuine history into this club, because a generation, 2 generations, 3 generations of fans have been starved of glory. And this could be the turning point, and it could be the beginning of something new. So you just got to breathe that in. You just got to go out there. You're 180 minutes away from making it to a final. So look each other in the eyes, tell each other you're with each other, and go out there on the pitch and prove everybody wrong.
Yeah. No, absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Proving people wrong is the angle I would be using as well. I'd literally say, look, that silly little fat Irish twat has been running his mouth saying, you haven't been good enough all season. I haven't been good enough all season. The press, everybody else, they want us all gone. We are 180 minutes away from a fucking European final where we have a chance to go and make fucking history. Carpe diem, seize the day, go and entertain. You know, remember who you are. Remember what you're good at. Everyone is telling us what we're bad at. Remember what you're good at. And let's go out as a collective and fucking prove people wrong. Let's create a new history for this club, a new dawn for the supporters. We owe it to them. We sucked ass this year. Now it's time to repay them. Let's go out and fucking get a win. So that's what I would say to them. And then end off by, are you not entertained? But guys, that's it from us here. It's been an absolute pleasure having this build up, you know, for a European semi-final. Like I said, as a young kid, you know, I'm out on the streets. My friends are going in, like, right, it's like 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. Where are you off? I'm just going in to watch my team in Champions League. Where are you off? Just going in to watch my team in Champions League. And I was the lonely one left under the street, like no one else around me, just soloing a ball, practicing my skills. Europe was an absolute fucking fantasy. It was so far away from when I supported the club as a kid. So nights like this, I am not going to take for granted. I'm absolutely pumped for. I hope it's going to be a sea of lily white and navy blue at that stadium. And look, it's nights like this that bring generations together, Spurs fans together under one badge, under one club. And hopefully tonight is Tottenham Hotspur's night. Guys, I'll see you back here in about 20 odd minutes for the fucking watch along. As always, come on, you
Come
Spurs.
on, you Spurs.
Come on. For Tottenham Hotspur. Come on.
Billy Bow.